Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ring.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, happy Monday. I know why you're here, and it's to hear about Bad Bunny. And I'm here to tell you it'll happen at 12:47 when Ethan takes over the microphone.
That's what we do here at 97.1 FM Talk. We talk about the latest trending music and entertainment news.
Oh, I thought you were going to say we tease.
No politics whatsoever. Well, we do plenty of that as well. But I feel like the majority of that happens when Ryan is in the seat, not me.
And Ryan is still at Disney World, or somewhere in between Disney World and his job that helps him get to Disney World. However, I will say, I do believe that when I say that when the listeners hear me say that you're here to listen to us talk about Bad Bunny, I'm going to be honest. I think 98% of them think I'm talking about Joe Biden and the Easter Bunny. He's a Bad Bunny.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. And that should be pretty telling of the situation.
Just let's not give up too much information.
Yep, that's all. That's where I'm leaving it.
Tune in to 12:47 to find out if we're talking about Joe Biden's Easter Bunny, i.e. Corinne Jean-Pierre, maybe. A lot happening over the weekend, a lot to discuss. Tyler Robinson, just at his initial hearing, the alleged assassin of Charlie Kirk. We have another church shooting combined with burning at a Mormon church in Michigan, a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Michigan. 4 dead is my last number that I have heard. Another incredible tragedy. And so we're watching as news conferences come in on that. And then in the meantime, a government shutdown looms. We've been talking about this all year. I've been talking to Ryan Schmelz and Chad Pergram and Congress men and women who have come on the show and be like, are we going to get to September and then we're going to have the old government shutdown fight? You know, the thing that we do every year at this time. And it seemed as though what I remember them saying is, I hope not, which means yeah. And so here we are. The government may shut down at close. No, it's not close of business. When does business really close? When does it open? On Congress. Midnight tomorrow night, Eastern time. So they have through tomorrow midnight in order to come to some sort of agreement when you have an impasse of the majority of Republicans in the House who can put together, what they're trying to do right now is put together a continuing resolution that will continue to fund the government at the current levels, nothing changes, so that they can get a budget passed by the end of the year. Now, that's about the extent of which I can responsibly explain it to you. So Ryan Schmelz will be with us at 1:30. Who is the Fox News Radio Capitol Hill White House correspondent. He just gave the update with Fox News at the top of this hour. He'll be with us in about 80 minutes from right now to give us the very latest. Because over the weekend in my X feed, I keep seeing Trump not even going to meet with Democrats. Trump's going to meet with Democrats. And it just goes back and forth. The ping pong ball moves back and forth across the table. And as of right now, I believe that there is a potential meeting that is going to take place between Donald Trump and the Republican majority and the Democrats. You might be listening and saying, Annie, Republicans have the majority. If the Republicans are in lockstep, they can go through this whole process. No, that's not the way it works, because in the Senate, they're going to need 60 votes. It's not like reconciliation, which is the thing that we wanted to see get done with the big, beautiful bill that was signed on July 4th, which was a simple majority in the House of Republicans, that of which the Republicans do actually have. They do not have 60 votes in the Senate. They will need to bring over, what do we have, 52? 53?
53.
53. They're going to need to not lose any Republican votes, which includes the likes of the senator from Maine, Susan Collins, who is very purple in that state. She is not a guaranteed Republican vote. Lisa Murkowski in Alaska, another difficult vote. Rand Paul on money issues, an absolutist. God love him for being there and representing that part of the wing. Will Rand Paul support it? There's 3 Republicans right there that if they lost those 3, they wouldn't have the majority. What do they have to do in order to fund the government to make sure that they can get to 60? They have to please I just basically, on economic issues, set the table for the spectrum on the Republican Party. Rand Paul, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski.
Are there any Democrats that we can say right now, like we're confident that they would vote yes? Is there any
whatsoever? There are definitely Democrats who will vote to fund the government.
Okay.
But under what circumstances?
Sure.
They'll have to get something.
Right.
People don't like that.
Yeah.
Tough cookies. That's just the way government works. That is how they'll have to come to agreement. And I cannot stress enough that the Founding Fathers knew that this would be difficult. You don't like it? You don't like the way certain elected officials are voting? If you're in their district, if you're in their state, you got to change them out and put somebody in there who is going to represent you in a better way. And if you don't get enough votes, then that's just the way it goes. I lament that fact because I live in the state of Illinois. And all of my federal representatives, other than the president and the vice president, are, in fact, Democrats. So we're going to talk to Ryan Schmelz about the government shutdown, but that's what our YouTube poll is centered around today. And I'm kind of curious, Ethan, you're 25 years old. You've been dabbling in conservative talk radio. I'm going to say it, and you can vehemently disagree for a paycheck. why you try to make a great and storied career that one day we will be. Remember when Ethan was just the little associate producer for the Annie Fry Show on a talk station when you're broadcasting pro sports somewhere?
Well, I was going to allow for the comment to be made until you went that far with it. But yes, dabbling. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I don't want anybody to get the impression here that Ethan is anything other than a really smart businessman and a loving, doting husband who understands that these enormous power bills need to be paid. I digress. But
that's why I'm in radio.
Well, yes, for the money. That's why we all got into radio. The question is, why are we still here? My question to you, though, is when it comes to government shutdowns and the process through Congress, how much of this right now, as somebody who's been dabbling for a little bit longer than I would imagine a lot of your 25-year-old peers are not on the edge of their seat waiting to find out if the government shuts down. How much are you paying attention to this? How much do you feel like you understand? Give yourself a grade.
Right now, going into a Monday, I would say it's really low. It's probably a D or an F. But one of the cool things about, as you mentioned, I think you summed it up actually really well, dabbling in politics, having a certain level of interest while also knowing that if it goes too far, it just goes over my head. By the end of the week, I will have a much better understanding, and I would say by the end of the week, it'll probably be a C.
Yeah?
Right now, it's an F.
So you're learning.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, I don't know, how many times a year do we get to this point where we're talking about this and we're trying to avoid a shutdown, and you get a little bit of information.
Well, we get to this point in September every year.
Okay, all right.
But there are other things
So it's year-round, it's September every year? Is that what it tends to be?
Well, they just need to make sure the funding runs out in September.
Okay.
So they funded the government last year through September. They basically can pass a continuing resolution, which is essentially a Band-Aid.
That was a year ago we were talking about the CR?
Yeah, we're always talking about it. We're always talking about you need to do this so that we don't have to pass another CR. We should fund the government the way it is supposed to be responsibly funded for the taxpayers who actually fund the government. And then here we are on September 29th going, we're going to have a government shutdown. Gasp.
Geez, it feels like it's been a really fast year. Yeah, so I would say right now it's relatively low, but that's kind of the cool part about this is, when you're around it, you get a lot of information and you grow to learn and understand things. But yeah, right now, this side of politics is the side that I would say
you glaze over.
My interest is limited because maybe this is bad, but I kind of just hope and trust that something is going to get done at some point, and the people that we elect to do this are just going to be able to, take care of business. And unfortunately, maybe my hope is too
There
high.
are at minimum 6 or 7 listeners out there right now that said "Trust but verify, Ethan," which is a quote by Ronald Reagan.
That's good.
Yes.
I like that.
Trust but verify.
And that's probably where I would line up more so. Yeah.
And you can trust a government more, you would think, that has a majority of people who think fiscally the way you do. And if you're a conservative or a Republican right now, you would hope that the majority would allow you to do it. The truth of the matter is, though, in order to pass a budget, which needs to be passed by the end of the year, you're going to need to get Democrats to agree with you. How does that happen? There are going to be things that make Republicans squirm because they are going to have to do things that get those Democrats on board to fund the government. The real question is, what happens if we don't fund the government? And the answer to that will be coming at 1:30 with Ryan Schmelz. Okay, so let's say they can't come to an agreement by midnight tomorrow night. What stops? What doesn't? Who has the authority to say, nope, we're going to continue funding this or that, or who doesn't have that authority? We'll get all of those answers with Ryan Schmelz at 1:30. And the YouTube poll for you today is, how will you feel if the government shuts down over a funding impasse? Blame Democrats? Blame Republicans, or couldn't care less? And I am really interested to know how many of you, active, engaged, and educated listeners out there on the right and on the left, if you're listening to the show, you have already modeled at least a little bit of an interest in knowing what's going on and caring about it. I wonder how many of you, I'm wondering if it'll get over 10%. Couldn't care less. I haven't looked. Are you looking at the results?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked at the results yet. My guess at the end of the show, blame Democrats is going to be 85%. Blame Republicans, standard 3%. 85, 83. No, 85 plus 3, 88, 12%.
12.
That's my guess. That's my shakedown.
Putting it down on paper. Put it on the board.
We should.
It's on the board.
When we come back, we're going to speak with Greg Jarrett. What did you specifically book Greg Jarrett on? Comey?
Comey.
Okay, yeah, good. Because we're going to talk to James about, we're not going to talk to James Comey. Although, Brad, you could work on that too.
I'll do my best.
I would
Danny.
like to depose James Comey. Can we please get him in studio, if you please? He can sit where Jamie Lissow sat on Friday. We're going to talk to Greg Jarrett about James Comey. Michael Cohen, did you pull the Michael Cohen clip? No, say no.
No.
I didn't send it to you because I'm not going to be like, Michael Cohen said something I agree with. Let's play it on our show. Boo on that. That's not happening. I respect you more for not pulling that clip. Michael Cohen said on MSNBC that he thinks Comey is going to be guilty. Ooh. And Michael Cohen knows a little bit about crime. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if this is where I'm like, Michael Cohen's my man. Greg Jarrett is our friend here on the Annie Fry Show, Fox News legal analyst, expert when it comes to everything that's been going on in the background while they've been trying to attack Donald Trump. And Greg Jarrett joins us next. Don't go away.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/free. QUO.com/free.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in St. Louis and they get paid weekly. Available to eligible Medicaid members in St. Louis. Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid. Freedom Care has over 7,000 five-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in St. Louis for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want to receive great care from a loved one, go to freedomcare.com or for faster service, call 314-597-1749. 314-597-1749. That's 314-597-1749.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
With conviction and clarity, The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis.
And I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump. But we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial.
Let's have a trial. I'm innocent, declares James Comey. Man, if there is somebody who has done their research on this story, it's our friend, Greg Jarrett. He joins us once again. Fox News legal analyst, former defense attorney and law professor, and author of many great books that you must check out, especially on the story of Russia collusion and the Russia hoax. Greg Jarrett, welcome back to the show. Thank you for your time today.
Annie, good to be with you.
So we get an indictment last week for James Comey on 2 charges. Can you break down for us, with your expertise and your breadth of knowledge on this topic, what were those indictments and what does that mean for James Comey?
Well, first of all, you played the clip and it was so predictable. In my first book 7 years ago, in which Comey was on the cover, I opened the book by describing how nauseously arrogant and self-righteous and vainglorious he was. And of course, within an hour or two of the indictment, he rushed to the nearest camera to claim the mantle of victimhood while anointing himself as America's greatest hero, fearless in the face of a tyrant. He vowed to fight for truth, justice, and the American way. I'm surprised he didn't wear his Superman cape. It was classic Comey. There he was, vainglorious and sermonizing and moralizing. The dissonance is so striking because, this is the guy who did more damage to the FBI and our system of justice and indeed a presidency, the first Trump term, than anyone ever. So, that's going to be his defense, that he is a victim of a political prosecution and lawfare, which, of course, is, silly ironic because he's the guy who single-handedly launched the first lawfare campaign against Donald Trump, the phony Russia hoax. As far as, the charges are concerned, there are only 2 of them, false statements, obstruction. And that's pretty straightforward. I think he has an advantage because this is the Eastern District of Virginia, so the jury pool will be made up of liberals. The judge is a Biden appointee. The burden of proof is on the prosecution, and it's an exceedingly high burden beyond a reasonable doubt. So I think a lot of it will depend on the credibility of the witnesses against him. And, based on what I've read in the indictment, we don't know who those witnesses are, but it's pretty clear they're going to be, Comey loyalists. So have they turned against him or just the opposite, I suspect? They will maintain some, sense of loyalty and fudge their testimony so that it won't be really against him, but will give him, a legal out to the charges. So, it's going to be a challenge for prosecutors. If this case were brought someplace else, a fair venue with, a neutral judge and neutral jurors, the outcome, I suspect, would be different.
So, he says at the end there, let's have a trial. I'm innocent. Do you feel as though the evidence that we have in the public eye, at least, of course, we'll wait and see what kind of testimony is brought during this trial. Do you think his innocence is truly up for debate? Do you feel like they might have him dead to rights on providing false statements?
No, I mean, look, broadly speaking, beyond the indictment, I think Americans have come to know James Comey. Ruthless, unscrupulous, unprincipled. Under Comey's tenure, which was less than 4 years, he ruined the good name and reputation of the FBI. The law enforcers under Comey became the law breakers. He was a law unto himself, driven by his bias and his conspicuous hatred of Donald Trump. Comey and his confederates at the FBI, the whole gang of them, and we know their names, manipulated facts. They contorted the law to target and destroy Trump. They knew there was no credible evidence that he colluded with Russia. It was all cooked up by Hillary and her campaign and fueled by a dossier that the FBI debunked almost immediately. It was a damning fiction and the dirtiest trick ever perpetrated in politics. Comey, in a nutshell, tried to incriminate Trump for crimes that he knew Trump didn't commit. And he did it through deceptions and lies and malevolent acts. And, he truly has very few supporters. But, in Washington, D.C., that's not terribly unusual that, it may come to this. But, spare me the moralizing that, he's a victim here of lawfare.
Yeah.
He was the chief of lawfare.
Yeah, he definitely has. I guess he would identify it by recognizing it from being part of it. It feels like that. It doesn't. Yeah. I'm wondering why. If there's a methodology in your assessment of going after James Comey first, I understand that maybe there are concerns about other people who may have lied under oath, who maybe have gotten some auto pen pardons, that maybe the work to try to restore some justice in this country goes through James Comey, because I guess he didn't get a pardon from Joe Biden. Like, is there a reason why Joe Biden or James Comey first?
Yeah, I think because there was a looming statute of limitations problem that was set to expire tomorrow, literally, based on his last congressional testimony 5 years ago in 2020. So there was a ticking clock there for him. Now, we do know that the Department of Justice is investigating a variety of other people, including John Brennan, who was the CIA director. And I think there's, reportedly, the FBI and the DOJ are also looking about an ongoing lawfare conspiracy. Mm-hmm. The advantage to that is, particularly in a conspiracy, is that the last act in furtherance of the conspiracy is when the clock starts ticking. And so that's beneficial when there are statute of limitations. But look, so many of the people, are going to walk without accountability because under Joe Biden and Merrick Garland at the Department of Justice, they sat on incriminating evidence regarding a great many people and watched happily as the statute clicked by.
We're speaking with Greg Jarrett, Fox News legal analyst and author. Read his books on everything leading up to this moment. It's a good chronology of how we have gotten to this moment. Is there a possibility that during a trial where James Comey is on trial for either distorting the truth, not providing the truth, or specifically being deceptive with the truth, is there a possibility that other things are discovered in, oath-ridden testimony that might make this investigation into what really went on in the Russia collusion hoax even broader?
Yeah, I would like to think so, but these charges are narrowly defined, and so I tend to think not. But make no mistake, under Kash Patel at the FBI and Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche at the Department of Justice and others, they're digging deep. I mean, for example, Patel is on record stating that they have found everything from burn bags to, squirreled away in places that nobody knew about in the FBI building. to hard drives that were also concealed and hidden and have been recently discovered. Deliberately concealed evidence tolls the statute of limitations. So, I mean, I don't know what's on the hard drive or the burn bags, but, that's one possibility for suspending the statute of limitations. They're digging deep, and, they may have all kinds of things that at this point we're unaware of. But, if you read in particular my second book, Witch Hunt, I lay out all the acts of misfeasance and malfeasance, deception, lies, crimes committed, the statutes and the people who violated them, and Comey and Clapper and Brennan among them, but a great many others.
Well, the books are definitely out there for folks to read to get a little precursor to what we might see as James Comey has been indicted last week on these two charges. Greg Jarrett, you have literally written the book on it. We're always grateful that you share some of your expertise with us here on our show. Thanks for being with us today.
Happy to do it, Annie. Take care.
Yep, you as well. We'll have you back soon. Greg Jarrett is the Fox News legal analyst that we love to have on to talk about specifically these issues. He has been covering them when everybody else was kind of maybe side-eyeing because the mainstream media really held the levers. They were effective in the early years of the Trump administration, and Greg Jarrett has been saying, this is what's really going on here. And the last time we had him on, he was talking about some of the documents that had been released and some of the knowledge that's been released. He's like, I wrote about this in my book in 2018. He's been there. He's had the documents. He's covered it. And now that President Trump is back in office with an administration and a Justice Department that's focused on justice, we will see what justice looks like in James Comey's circumstances and situation. All right, we're going to take a quick break. The YouTube poll for today, how will you feel if the government shuts down over funding? Impasse. Blame the Democrats, blame Republicans, or you couldn't care less. Government shutdown, whatever. Let us know what you think. Go to the vote. Go vote in the live chat poll. It's on today's YouTube live broadcast of the show. So if you search Annie Fry, F-R-E-Y, on YouTube, you'll see we're broadcasting right now. In the live chat portion, that's where the poll is. President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu are going to be having a joint news conference from the White House shortly, and we are going to listen into that because there's discussions that maybe peace could be very close to being successfully negotiated. So we will carry that when it happens as well. We've got Steve Moore on the economy coming up at 1 and Ryan Schmelz on the government shutdown at 1:30. Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloor.com. They're in Missouri in multiple locations in St. Charles County and West County, also in Dardine Prairie. Shopping with Michael's is a comfortable place to be when you are starting your process or if you've been thinking about it for a long time and you know exactly what you want and you just want to, decide who's going to earn my business. It's really kind of the American way, isn't it? Businesses out there competing to make sure that they can provide you the best top quality service, value, the quality product that you are looking for. Somebody was working hard to earn your dollar, and Michael's is doing that each and every day. If you go online to their website at igotfloor.com, they are very proud to put their Google reviews. They're not just reviews that they've cultivated and put onto their website. Their Google reviews are searchable right there on their website, and you can see thousands of people who have said, this is the place. This is the place we bought our flooring before. We'll do it again the next time we need to. Transform your home with the best products in the flooring business, like the Techwood Plus, the Mohawk Smart Strand line of carpeting. Get everything you need at Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloor.com.
Ronald Reagan once famously said, government is not the solution, government is the problem. When it comes to economic growth, government can be a roadblock. With red tape, regulations, and subsidies, government stifles entrepreneurship and also props up businesses that deserve to go under. Unlike government, free markets encourage risk-taking, freedom to succeed or fail. Governments shouldn't be picking winners and losers, the market should. Free markets benefit the business owner and the customer by encouraging competition. Free Market enabled a young man named J.C. Hall selling picture postcards in Kansas City to turn his idea into Hallmark cards. In St. Louis, the free market made it possible for Adolphus Busch to turn his father-in-law's local beer into the world's largest brewery. A free market also means you get to send your kids to the school of your choice. Learn more about free markets at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Today's YouTube live chat poll: how will you feel if the government shuts down over funding impasse? Blame Democrats, blame Republicans, or couldn't care less? The time is 12:34. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. 25 years strong. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Outside of this one church town, there's a gold dirt road to a whole lot of nothing. Got a deed to the land, but it ain't my ground. This is God's country. We pray for rain and thank Him when it's falling, 'cause it brings a grain and a little bit of money. We put it back in a plate. I guess that's why they call it God's country. I saw the light in a
I want to start by asking you if you've seen this 21-point peace plan and if you plan to declare support for it at the White House tomorrow.
Well, we're working on it, Jackie. It's not been finalized yet, but we're working with President Trump's team, actually as we speak, and I hope we can make it a go because we want to free our hostages. We want to get rid of Hamas rule and have them disarmed, Gaza demilitarized, and a new future set up for Gazans and Israelis alike, and for the whole region.
So there you have Bibi Netanyahu talking about the stakes right now on this discussion to broker some sort of peace, some sort of calm, finally, to Gaza. And Netanyahu is at the White House right now because there's been an impasse between them before. You want to take another shot at the YouTube poll?
So,
you kind of got thrown into that at the last second.
Yeah, it's Brad's fault that I don't know how to do English.
YouTube live chat poll for today.
How will you feel if the government shuts down over funding impasse?
There you go.
I literally Googled the word after. I was like, that didn't sound right. And then you looked at me. I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. And then it was kind of just like, all right, here's my two hopes from this. I hope that Ryan never hears that.
No, we don't.
And I hope that Trisha didn't hear that.
I was going to let it go. You told me to make fun of you.
I did.
You said
you got to be able to laugh at yourself in this business.
Yeah, give me what you got. I can't do it the same way I would do it to Ryan though. So we have a press conference that has been soon.
For
or
how
any
long
minute
now?
Like an hour. I don't know. It's hard to plan a show around.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna take that. We're gonna bring you to that press conference because one would think that when the press conference happens, whatever is keeping them from giving the press conference right now would be crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and that by the time they get to a press conference, they would have some news.
What are the odds it's going to happen as soon as I go to call Steve Moore?
That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. And Ryan Schmelz is going to be with us at 1:30, and he's going to talk to us about the government shutdown that is looming. They make it sound like it's like the angel of death. That's what I always think about, like the Ten Commandments, when they had the black cloud that goes over the, that's such a good movie. I haven't watched that in a long time. But this, like the word looming, a government shutdown, I wonder how many of you literally do not care about how this is going to shake out. That's the poll, as we were just discussing there. Blame Democrats, blame Republicans, or you couldn't care less. I truly wonder how many of you folks don't care if the government shuts down. Ryan Schmelz will tell us at 1:30 why we should care, I think, about if the government shuts down. There are going to be people who are going to go without a paycheck because they're not going to be going to work. Those individuals, I'll ask him this. I'll ask Ryan to correct me if I'm wrong at 1:30. They always get back pay. So you don't get paid. And then when everything gets done, they always approve back pay for everybody who was off. So it's like you have to go. How many of us live paycheck to paycheck? If you had to go 2 weeks without pay and then in 2 weeks you got double the pay, you'd still probably have to figure a few things out and make some plans and plan accordingly. So we will see with Ryan Schmelz at 1:30. Steve Moore is going to be with us at 1 o'clock as well. The YouTube live chat poll, Brad, do you have any strong feelings about how you will feel if the government shuts down over a funding impasse?
As much as I'd want to say I couldn't care less, I have friends who are in the military, and I don't want to see them go through hardship. I think that if at what everybody
I think the military is usually still funded and paid. That's at the pleasure of the president to make that determination.
That's true. And I also
it might depend on where in the military.
Yeah,
though.
and I also have friends that are civilian contractors that work on base as well.
That would be
Force
different.
Base.
Yeah.
And those, I know for a fact, those people don't get paid whenever that happened, or at least the last time there was a shutdown, they didn't get money. So and I feel bad for them because, like you said, people work.
Who was the president the last time it got shut down?
Oh man, it wasn't Joe Biden, was it? I don't think they actually shut it down during his. Was it Trump?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I think that they did shut it down.
So that is my concern. I think that if what they're saying about this is true, if it's just a continuing resolution of what Democrats had already approved as far as funding goes, I would say blame Democrats, except on our poll it has an exclamation point, and I don't know that I would put an exclamation point as much as I'd put a period.
That's the most Ryan answer to a question you've ever given me. Here, let's listen to Speaker Mike Johnson talk about what is in this CR. Of course, the leader of the Republicans, but also the Speaker of the House and the third in line to the presidency. What is it the Democrats can't get behind in order to support the continuing resolution that will be a Band-Aid on current spending that would it would extend the funding of the government at the levels with which is being funded right now? What is it the Democrats can't get behind?
There is nothing partisan about this continuing resolution. Nothing. We didn't add a single partisan priority or policy rider at all. We're operating completely in good faith to give more time. The only thing that would gut health care, using his own phraseology there, is if we took Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer's demand here, because they want to cut $50 billion from rural hospitals. That's the new fund that we added in the big, beautiful bill, the Working Families Tax Cuts that we passed just a couple months ago. They want to gut that. They also want to hold up all this funding that I listed. I mean, the WIC program is something that we all champion for women, infants, and children nutrition. That would be held up. So it's exactly the opposite of what Hakeem is talking about. The Obamacare subsidies is a policy debate that has to be determined by the end of the year, December 30th, not right now, while we're simply trying to keep the government open so we can have all these debates.
So Speaker Johnson there making the point, it's a systematic thing right now that the problems that Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats have with our budget are arguments and debates that need to be had before the end of the year, because in essence, you're going to have it's October, basically October, November, December. You've got 3 months to hash out these different types of negotiations so that when you fund the government, when you pass the budget for the next fiscal year, you have done so in a way that has to get a majority in the House and 60 votes in the Senate. So you've got 3 more months to discuss these policies and try to advocate for the things that are important to you. Right now, they're basically buying time to have those discussions. You can't fix the policy of the budget right now because they need to fund the government. They need to fund the government right now. They're asking for a Band-Aid. They're asking for 3 more months to have good faith negotiations to fund what they need to fund. So Hakeem Jeffries is saying there's nothing partisan in it. I mean, essentially the continuing resolution is a continuation of what has already passed before. It's always fun to go back and look at what Republicans were saying when Democrats had the majority and government was shutting down. And I've heard many conservatives say, shut the whole thing down. I'm not necessarily one of those people, but I'm also thinking to myself, if a majority of American voters sent Republicans in the majority in the House and the Senate, they shouldn't give up the whole schmo to appease some Democrats and do things that the Democrats are using, big policies using to hold the system hostage.
Federal law prohibits the expenditure of taxpayer dollars on providing health care to undocumented immigrants. Nowhere have Democrats suggested that we're interested in changing federal law.
So federal law, yes. In the state of Illinois, guess what we do? We provide health care for undocumented immigrants. There are a lot of pushes that are being made by the Democrats to use taxpayer monies to support immigrants who are here, undocumented immigrants who are here. And we'll get the dots on the I's and the crosses on the T's with Ryan Schmelz at 1:30 to find out what those details actually are. But it's also very possible, I'm not even going to say likely, but it's very possible that by the end of our show tomorrow in the evening, they come up with something, they pass a CR, and the Democrats, which it just goes away. Poof. We're not talking about it by Friday because it's a Band-Aid. It's different than the actual budget that needs to be passed. Compromises will be made there most certainly. Let us know what you think about the poll. Let's take a break. We're waiting on the press conference where President Trump and Bibi Netanyahu are discussing terms on a 21-point plan to end the Israel-Hamas war. Donald Trump sure has his hands full, doesn't he? He's got like 6 huge things on his plate right now, and we might fit them all in before 3 p.m. It's crazy. Go vote in the YouTube poll. Ethan in for Weekends America next. Well, it's 86 degrees. Let me talk to you about your furnace. Air Comfort Service is thinking ahead right now on your furnace needs because when the cold weather does set in and people's furnaces aren't working, there's going to be a flood of calls to 314-513-0091. If you know that your furnace, your heating system needs a system check, this is a really good time to get ahead of the game and call Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. Fall is officially here, and the cooler weather is right around the corner, so get ahead of the game and make sure that your furnace is going to be ready for it when that cold weather sets in. With their preferred partner plan, you're going to get regularly scheduled heating and cooling system checks twice a year, discounts on diagnostic calls and repairs, and a discount on new equipment as well as priority service. Move to the front of the line when you are preferred partner. If you call them at 314-513-0091, mention Annie, and tell them you're interested in a heating system check. AirComfortService.com.
Mark Reardon isn't here to echo talking points. He challenges them. Smart, fast, and always original. The Mark Reardon Show. Weekdays at 3 on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-642-3615. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-642-3615 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-642-3615 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-642-3615.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
Not Wiggins America, Ethan's America. Ethan's America.
Let it soak in.
Yeah.
Don't talk over it.
Okay.
It's a mood. All right, you can go now.
Thank you, Annie.
Why is he like that?
Why is Ryan like that? Or why are you like that for supporting this so much?
I know you don't like that.
No.
I've got your back all the other times.
Literally all the other times.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think that Ryan's a little intimidated by you?
No.
Oh.
Not at all.
Do you think he's intimidated by anything?
No. No, I do not.
I know what he's intimidated by.
I concur. What's he intimidated by?
You.
No, he's not.
Oh, yeah, he's scared of you.
No, he's not.
Oh, for sure.
He's not scared of me. He didn't act like it.
He's scared of taking you on the golf course.
That's for sure.
No, that is true. That's the only place. What do you got for us today?
Well, I'm just going to quickly mention this regarding golf because it was a huge event this weekend. The Ryder Cup occurred over the weekend on Long Island in New York, and the U.S. Absolutely did terrible. They were awful. So this is an event that happens.
Day,
this is
right?
an event that happens every other year. Between the United States and Europe. It's really the only golf event, or it's the biggest team golf event.
Is it all of Europe?
It is all, yes, it's all of Europe combined against the United States. And it's based on who wins each hole, is basically what it is. You get a point after playing 18 holes if you win more
feels
holes
like banana ball
than
golf.
your opponent. So the U.S., traditionally, this has been a tournament that the home team wins. Very rarely does the visiting team win, and the U.S. Was terrible the first 2 days. Almost had an exciting comeback on Sunday, but not enough to pull off.
Did they play that great, or did Europe play that bad?
I mean, the U.S. was very disappointing.
No, I'm talking about the last day.
No,
Didn't Europe kind of melt down?
A little bit, but the U.S. also had some pretty exciting moments.
Okay.
So anyway, I just wanted to mention, we brought up golf, so I just wanted to mention that real quick. Okay, the big news last night that has drawn quite a bit of traction online is that we now know who is going to be performing.
Do we know?
We do, but we don't. We know who's going to be performing in the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show.
If I got up in the morning and surveyed the news stories and was like, ooh, what do I get to be outraged about today? This is begging for outrage. I can't be bothered.
That's fine.
I don't even watch the Super Bowl anymore.
See, I do.
Yeah.
So I'm upset by this.
Yeah. Why?
Bad Bunny.
Who's Bad Bunny?
Bad Bunny is going to be performing at this year's Super Bowl halftime show. Bad Bunny is a Latin singer, rapper. The 99% might be lowballing it. I'm going to say 99% of his lyrics are in Spanish. He doesn't sing in English. He's going to be performing at the biggest sporting event in America at the Super Bowl halftime show. So a lot of people are really upset about this. There's always that back and forth on social media. That's going on right now with this. But the reason that a lot of people, especially on the right, are upset is that this is a guy that canceled his U.S. tour recently because of the fear of his fans being taken by ICE.
Do you like any Bad
concerts.
Bunny songs?
I don't know any Bad Bunny songs.
You don't know any?
I don't know a single song.
If you don't
I know
any-
one feature. I know one feature.
Do I?
It was a Cardi B song that came out almost 10 years ago.
I know her whole catalog.
That's kind of what I thought.
My favorite Cardi B cut was the one where she was in court here recently, and she was making. Did you see that stuff? Oh my gosh, she was just in court for. I don't even know what she was in court for, but there were a lot of clips, and they were so funny.
Oh goodness, I can imagine that they were very entertaining.
Old friend producer Katie from the show, huge Cardi B fan. Ooh. Katie listens sometimes. Ethan just judged you hard. But that was my total exposure to Cardi B. She's just really funny. She is
a
character.
She's very entertaining. I'll give her that. Bad Bunny is a very, very famous worldwide singer. I think I looked it up last night. He averages 77 million listeners a month on Spotify.
So no argument that this dude's successful.
Correct. He'll go down probably as one of the most popular Latin music artists at the end of the day, like of all time.
Why Bad Bunny? What's that mean?
I have zero idea on the name. But
did you do any research for this segment?
I didn't know you wanted me to come up with the definition of the freaking name, Andy. Gee whiz.
Well, see, here's the problem. When I ask Ryan that question, he
makes
something up.
He makes it up.
And we just go on like it's gospel.
Well, when he was a young boy
when I was a young
in Venezuela, his mother was very upset with him one day.
Do you feel like come
yelled
Super
out,
Bowl? Do you feel like come
Bad
Super
Bunny.
Bowl, it's still going to be Bad Bunny?
Yeah. Apple Music made the official announcement. They're not walking this back. Jay-Z
Jay-Z
is the face
Obama's
of
buddy.
Rock Nation, which is the recording label that basically decides who performs at the Super Bowl halftime show. And
it's all business.
It's a trend. There's definitely a trend that is happening over the last couple of years, the direction that they are going.
Who did it last year? I don't even remember.
Last year was Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, yeah. A minor.
A minor, yes. A minor.
I didn't know about that. I didn't know any. It's like, that's how out of touch I am. Freaking old. That I didn't know any of that. I'm like, why are people going crazy? So then I learned about it because of A minor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can Google it. But if I were you, I wouldn't. It's not worth the time. My point being, this stuff is culturally irrelevant anymore.
It's just the part that frustrates me the most, and I'm not even arguing that he's not a very famous figure and that he has a lot of popularity even in the U.S. But I part of me wonders the NFL has been really trying to globalize the game. There's more international games every single year. My team, the Minnesota Vikings, are playing back-to-back international games right now. They played in Dublin yesterday, and they play in London next week.
Stupid.
And so I understand that aspect of they're trying to internationalize and globalize this. But what are we doing? Who is our market? Who is our main market?
Jay-Z.
And listen, I like good music. I some people probably dissed way more on Kendrick Lamar than I did last year. But what are you supposed to do if you can't even understand what he's saying?
Why?
That just frustrates me.
Why are you not looking at who your audience is, looking who's paying for the tickets, the thousands of dollars it takes to go to the Super Bowl, and being like, what's the show that these people would just go absolutely bonkers over? Because it's not Bad Bunny.
Yes, but I'm gonna push back a little bit and say I don't even personally care about the 60,000, 70,000 people that are in the stadium, rather than the millions of people watching in the country first.
It's who they serve.
In the country first and foremost.
Yeah, but the millions of people who are watching at home pay thousands of dollars to go to games in their own town, or they buy merch. These are all customers. They don't give a fudge brownie about their customers. They're trying to push something out. And
that's what it feels like.
I just don't. I understand you're a fan, and I'm not a fan, so we are coming at this from different angles and would not come at a natural conclusion. But I'm like, I just want to say, like, he's just not into you guys. The NFL is just not that into you. So walk away. I don't know. I know you're not going to do it.
That's a hard and unfair thing, right? If you love the game and it's being hurt, like, you still love the game, you know?
No. I watch college football, and when the NFL decided to screw St. Louis over with great magnitude, I said bye.
I get it.
But go Irish. We'll be right back.
Get ready for the chilly months ahead with Renewal by Andersen's Buy One, Get One 50% off window event. And if that wasn't great enough, those who qualify will enjoy 18 months with no payments and 0 interest. Not sure if now's the right time? Renewal makes it easy with a no-obligation window inspection. Just find out what new windows might cost when you're ready. No pressure, no hassle. And remember, only Renewal by Andersen can offer Fibrex, the proprietary window frame material that's 200% stronger than vinyl. That means durability, efficiency, and beauty that lasts through every season. In addition, Renewal by Andersen products increase a home's value by at least 15%. So what are you waiting for? Call 877-WINDOWS or visit rbastl.com to schedule your free consultation today. That's 877-WINDOWS or visit rbastl.com. Renewal by Andersen. Superior products, exceptional service.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Mark Reardon, and Annie Fry, along with Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group for the last Protecting Your Retirement educational event of the year. It's Thursday, October 2nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering if your 401k and IRA will last through your lifetime? Do you have your own personalized structured income plan set up? The markets are hitting all-time highs. Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your gains without having to sell? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss the last event of the year.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisor of my show, Thomas Helbig, at the Frontenac Hilton Thursday, October 2nd at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Celebrate September with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Take advantage of these huge savings. Spell it forward or backwards, it spells the same, Zero Res.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. That's right, weight loss seminar at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
A peace plan on the table. Lisa Brady, Fox News. As President Trump meets with Israel's prime minister on a 21-point proposal aimed at ending the war in Gaza.
There are so many civilians in Gaza and in Israel that have been waiting for this war to end. And this agreement that is currently being discussed at the White House right now between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump is a piece of hope for the region. And if they're able to move forward with this agreement, it would require Hamas to accept the terms that are currently on the table.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. The White House just confirming a trilateral call with Qatar's Prime Minister. Netanyahu expressing deep regret that a recent strike on Hamas leaders in Qatar killed a Qatari serviceman and acknowledging it violated their sovereignty. The newly appointed defense attorney for Charlie Kirk's accused killer says they do not plan to waive a preliminary hearing on whether there's enough evidence to go to trial. Suspect Tyler Robinson appearing remotely for his second court appearance today.
Prosecutors describe what they have to present at trial as voluminous. Robinson has been in custody since September 12th, 2 days after local and federal investigators say he fired the shot that killed Charlie Kirk at a Utah Valley University event.
Fox's Gernal Scott. The next hearing is October 30th, when Robinson is expected to appear in person. Police say everyone's now accounted for after yesterday's attack on a church in Grand Blanc, Michigan, where a shooter opened fire and set the church on fire. FBI Special Agent in Charge Reuben Coleman says it's being investigated as a targeted act of violence.
When I say targeted violence, I mean targeted within our state and within our community. Right now, what we are here for are the families and the victims, and we're going to work diligently in order to make sure we can bring closure for them as well.
4 people were killed, 8 others wounded before the gunman was killed. He was a 40-year-old Marine veteran. America is listening to Fox News.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
We are getting set to wrap up the month of September and get into October this week, and it is a little bit warm, but the humidity levels are really low, so it's pretty easy to take. Sunshine in control this afternoon, 88 for the high. Tonight, clear skies. We cool off quickly, 64 for the low, 70s for the evening plans. Tuesday, sunny and 88. Wednesday, sunny and 86. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, you know, Monday, we got our hands full today. There's a lot going on. We are awaiting right now, watching at the White House to see if we are going to get a press conference shortly from Bibi Netanyahu and President Trump. They have been discussing peace in Gaza, and of course, that would mean quite a bit for the world if they were able to negotiate that with all the appropriate parties. I've got a press release here from the White House that was sent within the last 30 minutes. And it says, today, President Donald J. Trump hosted a trilateral phone call with His Excellency Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel and His Excellency Prime Minister Mohammed bin Abdulrahman, I hope I said that right, bin Jassim Al Thani of Qatar, or Qatar. I can say it either way. I keep hearing people say it either way. The president expressed his desire to put Israeli-Qatar relationships on a positive track after years of mutual grievances and miscommunications. The leaders accepted the president's proposal to establish a trilateral mechanism to enhance coordination, improve communication, resolve mutual grievances, and strengthen collective efforts to prevent threats. They understood their shared commitment to working together constructively and clearing away misperceptions while building on the longstanding ties we have with the United States. So a mediation of sorts between President Trump with President Trump between Netanyahu with Israel, of course, and then Qatar. The press release goes on to say, as a first step, Prime Minister Netanyahu expressed his deep regret that Israel's missile strike against Hamas targets in Qatar unintentionally killed a Qatari serviceman. He further expressed regret that in targeting Hamas leadership during hostage negotiations, Israel violated Qatari sovereignty and affirmed that Israel will not conduct such an attack again in the future. The Prime Minister of Qatar welcomed those assurances, emphasizing Qatar's readiness to continue contributing meaningfully to regional security and stability. Prime Minister Netanyahu expressed commitment to the same. The leaders discussed a proposal for ending the war in Gaza, prospects for a more secure Middle East, and the need for greater understanding between their countries. Let's listen in just briefly here to Trey Yingst, who was just kind of setting the table for what these conversations might mean. And we're watching, it looks like we are pretty close to a press conference that's going to be held, two podiums there at the White House, one for Netanyahu, one for Trump. Let's get Trey Yingst reporting.
John, all indications in the region are that we are very close to an agreement to end the war inside Gaza. Next week will mark 2 years since the October 7th massacre, and we have gotten a look at some of the details inside of this 21-point plan. The plan says that within 48 hours of Israel accepting the agreement, all of the remaining hostages, 48 of them, 20 who are believed to be alive, would be freed from Hamas captivity inside the Gaza Strip, at which point Israel would be required to give up hundreds of life-sentenced Palestinian prisoners, some of them convicted of terrorism charges, along with around 1,000 Palestinians from Gaza who have been arrested since the beginning of the war. As part of this agreement, more aid would also flow into the Gaza Strip. You'd also see a gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces from the enclave, and then an ushering in of a technocratic government that would at least temporarily take over control of pockets of Gaza before it could be stabilized and a rebuilding effort started. All of this hinges, though, on whether or not Hamas will agree to this deal. And it will be interesting to see what President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu come out and say during this press conference at the White House, because unless they have assurances from the Qataris and from other regional players that Hamas is willing to accept this agreement, these two world leaders could come out and say that a deal has been reached. But again, this all hinges on whether or not Hamas will lay down their weapons and release the hostages.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Trey Inks. They're delivering kind of what the terms are, what the circumstances are of this deal. We're watching at the White House while they have these podiums set up. The room is full of the reporters, and we are just essentially waiting for the two gentlemen, the Prime Minister, the President, Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, and President Trump to come out and speak. I also have in my hand a new press release that was just sent out within the last 2 minutes. And it says President Donald J. Trump's comprehensive plan to end the Gaza conflict. And it has 20 points listed here by number of what will need to be done in order to cause this conflict to be resolved. Gaza will be de-radicalized, be a de-radicalized, terror-free zone that does not pose a threat to its neighbors. That's the first one. Number 2, Gaza will be redeveloped for the benefit of the people of Gaza who have suffered more than enough. Number 3, if both sides agree to this proposal, and this is bolded and underlined in this press release, if both sides agree to this proposal, the war will immediately end. Israeli forces will withdraw to the agreed-upon line to prepare for a hostage release. During this time, all military operations, including aerial and artillery bombardment, will be suspended, and battle lines will remain frozen until conditions are met for the complete staged withdrawal. Number 4, within 72 hours of Israel publicly accepting this agreement, all hostages, alive and deceased, will be returned. Number 5, once all hostages are released, Israel will release 250 life sentence prisoners, plus 1,700 Gazans who were detained after October 7th, 2023, including all women and children detained in that context. For every Israeli hostage whose remains are released, Israel will release the remains of 15 deceased Gazans. Number 6, once all hostages are returned, Hamas members who commit to peaceful coexistence and to decommission their weapons will be given amnesty. Members of Hamas who wish to leave Gaza will be provided safe passage to receiving countries. Number 7, upon acceptance of this agreement, full aid will be immediately sent to the Gaza Strip. At a minimum, aid quantities will be consistent with that which was included in January 19, 2025, agreement regarding humanitarian aid, including rehabilitation of infrastructure, water, electricity, and sewage, rehabilitation of hospitals and bakeries, and entry of necessary equipment to remove rubble and open roads. Again, you're listening right now to a press release that was put out just by the White House within the last 5 minutes, and it's President Donald J. Trump's comprehensive plan to end the Gaza conflict. I've read through about 9 of the points. I would assume that when President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu walk out to these podiums, that they will begin discussing these particular points of interest. And it does look as though this is very near happening. Can you make sure Fox doesn't have coverage on this and the Fox unanchored and see if they've given a 2-minute warning? They're just talking to Brad, not you sitting at your desk. Unless you can give me that information, I'd take it from you too. Number 9 on this list of 20 points. Gaza will be governed under the temporary transitional governance of a technocratic, apolitical Palestinian committee responsible for delivering the day-to-day running of public services and municipalities for the people of Gaza. That point goes on to explain how that would work and says this committee will be made up of qualified Palestinians and international experts with oversight and supervision by a new international transitional body called the Board of Peace, which will be headed and chaired by President Donald J. Trump, with other members and heads of state to be announced, including former Prime Minister Tony Blair. That's a very interesting development. This body will set the framework and handle the funding for the redevelopment of Gaza until such time as the Palestinian Authority has completed its reform program as outlined in various proposals. I'm going to move on here to point number 10. A Trump economic development plan to rebuild and energize Gaza will be created by convening a panel of experts who have helped birth some of the thriving modern miracle cities of the Middle East. So you hear President Trump, as he's trying to broker this peace, is trying to make sure that Gaza doesn't just remain a city of ruin, that the people of Gaza, if Israel is to pull out and Hamas, who has been the governing body of Gaza, which is a terrorist organization, has not conducted itself in a way that benefits those people of Gaza, the idea that investment and revitalization will be a part of this process is an important one. And President Trump is looking to oversee that. Now, will they agree to this? That's the big question. Because if they don't agree to it, then all of this is for naught. Point number 11, a special economic zone will be established with preferred tariff and access rates to be negotiated with participating countries. Tariffs. Number 12, no one will be forced to leave Gaza, and those who wish to leave will be free to do so and free to return. We will encourage people to stay and offer them the opportunity to build a better Gaza. So investing again in the people of this area, of this space, and making sure that there is a future. Isn't that really when you think about the conflict that has existed in the Middle East for so long? There's kind of a perpetual hopelessness. Like a downward spiral that sometimes spirals really fast and other times it seems as though it kind of slows down. The idea of transitioning that, being at a fork in the road and saying, I think we're going to try to stop doing that now. What if we invested in something that meant a bright future? That's what this agreement so far looks like it's trying to accomplish. Can they get it done? Huge question. All of this sounds great. Puppies, sunshine, and rainbows, of course. If it can't get done, then it doesn't matter. We're going to break here very quickly, and we're watching and monitoring for President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu to come out and talk about their efforts to achieve peace in Gaza. What a development on a Monday afternoon that would be if they're able to accomplish it. Keep it here. You'll hear it first on 97.1. We'll be right back.
It's good to be alive right about now.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan are a phone call, a text message away, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Stewie has a bagel loan, which is the way that you go and call him at 314-324-4440. You get a new mortgage, you get a mortgage refinance, you qualify for the bagel loan, you pay nothing in closing costs. That's really the gist of it. You pay nothing in closing costs. So going to get your mortgage when you're shopping for a new home, thousands of dollars that end up being on that final check that you write to close the actual mortgage so you can get the process done? Not with Stewie. He can explain to you in detail how he takes care of the closing costs for you. He understands that it's important that you make a good, smart, economic decision right there at the front end of that mortgage. And for so many people listening to this show right now, myself included 2 times, Stewie and the Bagel Loan has been the smartest decision that can be made on that mortgage opportunity. Call him or text him at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. And ask him about the Bagel Loan and tell him Annie said hi. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/free. QUO.com/free.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
Live, local, and conservative. It's the Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk.
from my youth, my high school, high school, I think it was high school, maybe junior high. I bet I sang good 70% of those words wrong. I hear those words now and I'm like, oh, now I get it. I don't know. Loved the song, didn't know what I was singing about. And a lot of the songs that I hear my kids singing about, I'm like, gosh, I really hope you don't understand what those words are about. We are waiting right now for President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu to deliver a joint press conference from the White House. The press is seated. Fellow dignitaries are seated in the room waiting for the two gentlemen to come out. And I would assume that negotiations are probably happening as we speak, and that the delay in coming out to deliver this press conference is likely because they're finishing up a statement. Maybe they haven't been able to reach some sort of conclusion, or maybe they have and they need to make sure that they have all parties involved. You know, I would throw back to the Alaska meeting with Vladimir Putin. That looked like peace was just right around the corner. Like, oh, we need to just file some paperwork and everything's going to be done. That hasn't been resolved. These are really complicated, really, I mean, dare I say, biblically complicated problems that aren't easily solved. And oftentimes when we're looking towards peace, when we're looking towards a ceasefire, maybe less than peace, ceasefire, not quite exactly peace, it's so simple. And I do this, and I'm always trying to check myself to make sure that I'm in the right space with this, but it's so easy to just be like, I want this win for Donald Trump. You know, it's like it's such a surface level. It's just a cheap way for, I'm talking about myself right now. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me. If Donald Trump brokers peace in the Middle East, arguably again, I'm thinking, oh man, that's really great for our team. But that diminishes the conflict that we're watching, the death and the destruction and the despair that has existed in this area of the world for so long, that I have to remind myself that I can't get so eager for a resolution so the red team scores a point that I don't respect the magnitude of what we're talking about right now. There is so much at stake with these negotiations, and I really do. I'm not trying to be a homer here, and people are going to hear it however they want to hear it. But have you noticed President Trump's persistence in trying to work towards a resolution for these conflicts? Folks, his patience and his willingness. Yes, he's the great negotiator, the art of the deal, and a lot of that all plays into what we're watching right now. These are, you could make, especially from the right side of the aisle, the argument that these are not his problems. Now, I think also on the right side of the aisle, intra-party, you'd see a lot of Republicans who are like, oh, these are definitely our problems. We should send all of our assets and our troops over there to make sure that peace is acquired and maintained. War hawks, isolationists, all on the same side of the aisle. I think you have that as well to an extent on the left side of the aisle, but all for particularly different reasons. We sit here and we watch this president move through this process, and he is fully committed to peace. And he's willing to do it, to mediate it, to work towards it, to ensure that it happens. And if it doesn't work today, he will not give up on it tonight. I want to take a very quick break. We got a 2-minute warning. We're going to come right back and break into coverage right here because we believe that the president and the prime minister will be out on the podium to speak on a potential peace agreement. Maybe, maybe not. We'll all find out together next. Don't go away. The Lutheran Elementary School Association, Lisa, STL.org. Please understand how Lutheran education can afford you the opportunity that you've always been looking to have for your child, for your grandchild. Lutheran education is there to make make you comfortable releasing your kids over to a classroom where you understand the difference between right and wrong. And don't forget that forgiveness is an equal party to understanding right from wrong. You learn of all of the things at a top tier level, the education, the administration of academic excellence, of ensuring that the kids are learning about the things that they're supposed to, but also learning about Jesus. There are so many kids attending Lutheran schools right now in our bi-state area, 34 elementary schools all across the area. If you have any questions about any of these Lutheran schools whatsoever, and you want to ask them, privately ask them to me on the Annie Fry Show Facebook page. And I know about so many of these schools. I'd love to talk to you about them. It won't take up any of my time that I'm not excited to give to you. If you've got a question about a Lutheran school near you, 34 elementary schools, 4 high schools with one coming next fall, reach out to me on the Annie Fry Show Facebook, but learn everything you need to know at lisastl.org.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one who lives with you. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care, helping you with preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more.
A family member or friend that gets paid weekly. This Medicaid program is available to eligible St. Louis residents.
New to Medicaid? The Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 7,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. If you live in the St. Louis area,
this service is available through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers can choose to get paid weekly. So go to freedomcare.com now, or for faster service, call 314-697-4912. 314-697-4912. That's 314-697-4912.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Still leading 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Than President Trump to reach a good deal, a reasonable deal for both sides. Both sides have to give up a little bit and might leave the table a little bit unhappy, but that's ultimately how we are going to end this conflict. It must end at the negotiating table. The president has made it very clear he wants to see the killing end. He wants all of the hostages released, and that's why Special Envoy Witkoff drafted up this very detailed and comprehensive 21-point plan and has proposed it to both sides. So we hope that both sides agree. That's the president's expectation.
Carolyn Leavitt, the White House press secretary, speaking on the issue at hand, which is the potential for a brokered peace in Gaza, with Israel and Gaza. We've got Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu, and we've got President Donald Trump now taking the stage to deliver the joint press conference to reporters there at the White House. So we're going to take this. We're going to listen to it live. You can join us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel if you want to chat along with us as we take in, hopefully, what potentially might turn into some sort of peace agreement if they've been able to negotiate that so far.
So this is a big, big day, a beautiful day, potentially one of the great days
ever in civilization. Things that have been going on for hundreds of years and thousands of years. We're going to, at least we're at a minimum very, very close, and I think we're beyond very close. And I want to thank Bibi for really getting in there and doing a job. We've worked well together, as we have with many other countries, both of us, with many other countries, which is the only way this whole situation gets solved. And I'm not just talking about Gaza. Gaza is one thing, but we're talking about much beyond Gaza. The whole deal, everything getting solved. It's called peace in the Middle East. So today is a historic day for peace, and Prime Minister Netanyahu and I have just concluded an important meeting on many vital issues, including Iran, trade, the expansion of the Abraham Accords, and most importantly, we discussed how to end the war in Gaza, but it's just a part of the bigger picture, which is peace in the Middle East, and let's call it eternal peace in the Middle East. So this is far more than anybody expected, but the level of support that I've had from the nations in the Middle East and surrounding Israel and neighbors of Israel has been incredible, incredible. Every single one of them. This afternoon, after extensive consultation with our friends and partners throughout the region, I'm formally releasing our principles for peace, which people have really liked, I must say. And these are done not just routinely done, these are done with total consideration and working with the nations that we're talking about. All of these nations have made contributions to those suggestions. I want to thank the leaders of many Arab and Muslim nations for their tremendous support in developing the proposal, along with many of our allies in Europe. Europe has been very much involved, and as I was called by many of the European leaders, most of them saying, is this true? Are you really doing peace in the Middle East? This is the most incredible thing we've heard. Some think it's the biggest thing they've ever heard. They called just to find out, was it just a rumor or is it actually done? And then they said, have you spoken to the Arab leaders? Have you spoken to all of the other leaders that we have to get? A lot of people involved in this one. I also want to thank Prime Minister Netanyahu for agreeing to the plan and for trusting that if we work together, we can bring an end to the death and destruction that we've seen for so many years, decades, even centuries, and begin a new chapter of security, peace, and prosperity for the entire region. And I want to just say that my meetings and dialogue that we had with so many countries, Saudi Arabia as an example, the king is a phenomenal person. The Emir of Qatar, he's incredible people. UAE, and that's MBZ and ABZ. We're totally involved. These are the people that we've been dealing with and who've been actually very much involved in this negotiation, giving us ideas, things they can live with, things they can't live with. Pretty complex. I mean, after 2,000, 3,000 years, whatever it is, I guess it's got to be a little complex, or it would have been done a long time ago. The King of Jordan was with us, as you know, in the United Nations. The President of Turkey, President Erdogan, is a friend of mine, a strong man, but a good man. President of Indonesia, somebody who's an amazing leader, Prabowo. He is an amazing leader and respected by everybody. He was in the room with us. We were together with most of these people that I'm mentioning. Others were by phone or the next day. The Prime Minister and the Field Marshal of Pakistan, they were with us right from the beginning. Incredible. In fact, they just put out a statement that they fully believe in this pact. It just came out just as I was walking around. They said, sir, you have a big notice from the Prime Minister of Pakistan and from the Field Marshal that they back this 100%. President El-Sisi of Egypt, who's terrific. And these are people I've gotten to know over the years. I mean, it's Yes, I would say it started around 2015 and then went into 2016 when the presidency officially began. But I've known him actually for a long time, and there are many cases, really great men. I can't say in all cases, but I will tell you, in many cases, they're great men and some great women, too. They tend to be mostly men, however, I will say that. But if accepted by Hamas, this proposal calls for the release of all remaining hostages immediately, but in no case more than 72 hours. So the hostages are coming back, and I hate even saying this from the standpoint, doesn't sound right, but it is so important to the parents. The bodies of the young men, I believe in almost all cases, the young men are coming back immediately. I met with parents. The parents felt as strongly about getting the body of their dead boy back as they did as though the boy were alive and well. It's so important to them. And it means the immediate end to the war itself, not just Gaza. It's the war itself. Under the plan, Arab and Muslim countries have committed, and in writing in many cases, but I actually would take their word for it. The people I mentioned, I'd take their word for it, to demilitarize Gaza, and that's quickly. Decommission the military capabilities of Hamas and all other terror organizations. Do that immediately. And we're relying on the countries that I named and others to deal with Hamas. And I'm hearing that Hamas wants to get this done too, and that's a good thing. And destroy all terror infrastructure, including the tunnels, weapons, production facilities. They have a lot of production facilities that we're destroying. They'll also help train local police forces in the areas that we're discussing right now, in particular in and around Gaza, working with the new transitional authority in Gaza. All parties will agree on a timeline for Israeli forces to withdraw in phases. They'll be withdrawing in phases. No more shooting, hopefully. As progress is made toward achieving these goals, Arab and Muslim nations need to be allowed the chance to fulfill these commitments of dealing with Hamas. They have to deal with them because they were the one group that we have not dealt with. I haven't dealt with them. But the Arab countries are going to, and Muslim countries are going to be dealing with Hamas, and I believe they've already been there. I think they probably have an understanding, and they haven't maybe mentioned that, but I would imagine they do, otherwise they wouldn't have gone as far as they've gone. If they're unable to do so, then Israel would have the absolute right, and actually our full backing, the U.S. full backing. Marco's here, and a lot of our leaders are here, our great Vice President, Susie Wiles, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. They've been so involved in this process. I don't think anybody else could have done it or even come close, but it's we're right there. We're right there. First time in thousands of years, I think you can probably say, if you really look into it, if you study back, if you're a scholar, you would say thousands of years. Israel would have my full backing to finish the job of destroying the threat of Hamas. But I hope that we're going to have a deal for peace. And if Hamas rejects the deal, which is always possible, they're the only one left. Everyone else has accepted it. But I have a feeling that we're going to have a positive answer. But if not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do. Everyone understands that the ultimate result must be the elimination of any danger posed in the region, and that danger is caused by Hamas. The tyranny of terror has to end, and this is, again, something that we're looking for. This is eternity. This is for forever. To ensure the success of this effort, my plan calls for the creation of a new international oversight body, the Board of Peace, we call it, the Board of Peace, sort of a beautiful name, the Board of Peace, which will be headed, not at my request, believe me, I'm very busy, but we have to make sure this works. The leaders of the Arab world and Israel and everybody involved asked me to do this, so it would be headed by a gentleman known as President Donald J. Trump of the United States. That's what I want, is some extra work to do, but it's so important that I'm willing to do it, and we'll do it right, and we're going to put leaders from other countries on, and leaders that are very distinguished leaders, and we'll have a board, and one of the people that wants to be on the board is the UK former Prime Minister, Tony Blair, good man, very good man, and some others, and they'll be named over the next few days, and it'll be quite the board. Working, everybody wants to be on it now. I don't know if that had anything to do. They named me and everybody else wanted to be on it. I guess they figure, well, he's a soft touch. He'll be easy to deal with. Working with the World Bank and others, it will be responsible for recruiting and training a new government that will be made up of Palestinians along with highly qualified experts from all around the world. Hamas and other terrorist factions will play no role in the board, but they'll play no role in the governance of Gaza at all, directly or indirectly. As you know, thousands of Hamas leaders have been killed and soldiers have been killed. And we can never forget October 7th, but thousands have paid the price for that. And now it's time to get our hostages back and get back to trying to build something that's really great and very important. In our meeting today, Prime Minister Netanyahu was very clear about his opposition to a Palestinian state. And he continuously mentions October 7th, and I understand that. Most people do. And I understand and respect his position on many things, but what he's doing today is so good for Israel. I notice that they have large crowds gathering in Israel all the time, and they have my name up. They like me for whatever reason, Bibi, I don't know, but they do like me. But they say two things: please get the hostages back and please end the war. They've had it. It's had it. So I think it's a very popular thing you do, because he's a warrior. He doesn't know about getting back to a normal way of life, but he is a warrior, and Israel's lucky to have him. But now the people want to get back to peace. They want to get back to normalization in a true sense. Several countries have foolishly recognized the Palestinian state. As you know, some of our European friends, allies, good people, but they're really, I think, doing that because they're very tired of what's going on for so many decades. They've been presidents and prime ministers for years, and during this time, having to do with the Middle East, all they're doing is talking about the same thing over and over. They want to see it get back. And nobody wants that more than me, or I believe Bibi too. But the people of Israel want it. They really want it. They want the hostages back. That includes the probably 32 bodies that we're talking about, 20 people that are living, 32 or so people that are dead, and they want to have peace. So let us not forget how we got here. Hamas was elected by the Palestinian people. Israel withdrew from Gaza thinking they would live in peace. Remember that a long time ago, they withdrew. They said, you take it. This is our contribution to peace. But that didn't work out. That didn't work out. It was the opposite of peace. They pulled away. They let them have it. And I never forgot that, because I said, that doesn't sound like a good deal to me. As a real estate person, I mean, they gave up the ocean, right? Ron, they gave up the ocean. They said, who would do this deal? And it still didn't work out. They were very generous, actually. And they gave up the most magnificent piece of land in many ways in the Middle East. And they said, all we want to do now is have peace. And that request was not honored. Instead of building a better life for the Palestinians, Hamas diverted resources to build over 400 miles of tunnels and terror infrastructure, rocket production facilities, and hid their military command posts and launch sites in hospitals, schools, and mosques. So if you went after them, you'd be after them and you wouldn't even realize you ended up knocking out a hospital or school or a mosque. That terrible thing, terrible way to have to fight. No fight is good, but that's a real bad one. So there are many Palestinians who wish to live in peace. Many. I've seen so many of them. And they have support. And I challenge the Palestinians to take responsibility for their destiny, because that's what we're giving them. We're giving them responsibility for their destiny, fully condemn and prohibit terrorism and earn their way to a brighter future. They don't want the life that they've had. They've had a rough life with Hamas. If the Palestinian Authority does not complete the reforms that I laid out in my vision for peace in 2020, they'll have only themselves to blame. We're giving them an amazing footprint, and they have amazing support from the leaders of the Arab world and the Muslim world, the great leaders. These are great leaders. These are unbelievable leaders that have built great countries and very wealthy countries. What the future holds for the Palestinians, no one really knows, but the plan that we put forward today is focused on ending the war immediately, getting all of our hostages back, getting everything back. Hard to believe when you even say it, and creating conditions for durable Israeli security and Palestinian success. Israeli security is going to be involved. We're going to help you. We'll be there with you in terms of helping with security. We want to make sure it works. We just want to make sure it works. There shouldn't be a shot fired. Now, there will be, I guess, because that's the way it seems to be, but they shouldn't have to be within a few days. There shouldn't have to be a shot fired. Maybe for eternity. Wouldn't that be nice? I hope it's true. I can tell you the leadership of that region feels that there's a good chance of it being true. So this will lead to this agreement that we're talking about will lead to a sustainable long-term peace. No president in history has been a greater friend of the state of Israel than I have, in addition to negotiating the Abraham Accords. I like to say it that way because the real people, that's what they call Abraham. I would say Abraham, but it's so much nicer when you say Abraham. So much more elegant. But the Abraham Accords are amazing. Jarrett, you did that along with your group of geniuses, and nobody thought that could be done. We have 4 countries, and Sleepy Joe Biden didn't do a thing. He didn't even know what the hell they were. He should have had them fold up. But I think this will also lead to packing them. And who knows, maybe even Iran can get in there. I hope, we hope we're going to be able to get along with Iran. I think they're going to be open to it. I really believe that. But they could be a member. I long ago said, I'll bet you at some point Iran will be a member of the Accords. And little did I realize it was going to take this turn. That was some turn we did with the B-2s. But I think they might very well be there because it's a great thing for them economically. I recognize the eternal capital of Israel. I opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. That was something that everyone said would never be done, could never be done. Virtually every president for many, many years, for decades, would campaign on making Jerusalem the capital of Israel. They campaigned on it over and over. Is that right, Steve? Is that right? Everyone, and when they got to it, and I understand why now, because it was so, when I got to office, I campaigned on it too. I said, we're going to make it, and then I'd get calls from the leaders of various countries saying, please don't do it, please don't do it. It'll end the whole world, please don't do it. And finally, I just didn't say anything, and I did it. People were calling me before I did it because they heard I was going to do it, and leaders of countries were calling me, and I think it was on a Thursday that I did it, and they'd call me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3-4 times a day, and I said, tell them I'll call them back on Friday. And I announced it on Thursday, and I called them back, the biggest people in the world, and they said, you've done it. I said, done what? You've made the capital of Israel, Jerusalem, and we wanted to talk yet. I wish you called me a little sooner. Maybe I could have done something about it. So that was a lot easier than getting into an argument. because I knew what they were calling about. And you know what? It turned out to be amazing. Everybody thought it was going to lead to the end of the world, right? The end of the world, Ron, that's what they said. It didn't lead to anything. It just led to something that I promised and something that was very, very popular for Jewish people and a lot of other people, too. I recognize Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, and I cut taxpayer funding to the corrupt United Nations Relief and Works Agency. And United Nations was interesting because, as you know, a few days ago they introduced me. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, I'm looking at my teleprompter, and the thing was dead, stone cold, dead. The thing's up here. I have a long, beautiful speech to make. I'm back 30 feet back, and I'm saying, they're introducing me. There's nothing on my teleprompter. So, but I made a speech. I actually got good marks. You think Biden could have done that? I don't think so. I don't think he could have done that. I don't think too many people could have done it. But actually, it was actually more of a speech from my heart, if you want to know the truth. I think it was maybe better in certain ways because it was from the heart. It has to be from the heart. Otherwise, you're in big trouble. But I cut taxpayer funding for that very corrupt United Nations Relief and Works Agency, and nobody thought that would be done, and withdrew from the horrible Iran nuclear deal that was imposed upon Israel by Barack Hussein Obama and Biden. And I don't think Biden knew anything about it, though. I don't think he knows anything about it now, actually, if you ask him. He'd say, what is that? And we obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity, making it impossible for them to have a nuclear weapon, which they would have had probably in about 2 months from that. But I've never asked Israel to compromise its security, but we had big, strong talk. Nobody's been better to Israel. No president's been better to Israel than Donald Trump. But we had a long, strong talk, Bibi and I, and he understands it's time. It's time. History has shown. And the people of Israel want it. And the people of the Middle East want it. The people of enemies of Israel want it. But they don't have really too many enemies right now. And you know what? Many countries have gained great respect for Israel, for the way they fight, for the job they do, including me. I had respect anyway, but they gained respect. History has shown us that those who have relations with Israel have thrived, while those who have devoted resources and attention toward the destruction and even annihilation of Israel have languished. They haven't done well. Israel is not going anywhere. They're going to coexist with other people and countries in the region, from Syria to Lebanon to Saudi Arabia. The promise of a new Middle East is so clearly within our reach. This is the closest we've ever come to real peace, not fake peace, not political fool's peace. If we can get this difficult problem solved, the opportunities for all within that vast region of this world, it's a vast region, it's unlimited. The Abraham Accords show that all countries are better off when they communicate and work together and embrace new opportunities. I hope Jared and Steve and Susie and Marco and JD, we have great people. I hope you guys are going to work very hard to get these other countries in, because now they have no excuse. There's no longer an excuse. They were somewhere hesitant. And I tell you, the 4 countries that went in, I give them tremendous credit, and it's worked out incredibly well for them. In the same spirit, I'm pleased to report that earlier today we took another important step toward greater understanding in the region. A short time ago, we had a historic phone call in the Oval Office with Prime Minister Tani, who's really a great person. So we had a great talk, and I was on the phone, and Bibi was talking. Prime Minister Al-Thani was of Qatar. They really had a heart-to-heart conversation. It was a great conversation, I thought. It was productive. It was everything that you need to have something turn out to be successful. And I want to thank Bibi, and I want to thank the Prime Minister. It was fantastic. We agreed to launch a formal trilateral mechanism between Israel, Qatar, and the United States to begin a dialogue to enhance mutual security, correct misperceptions and avoid future misgivings. And I want to thank Qatar, its leadership, and the Emir. He's a fantastic person. I think, I'm going to be his public relations man because I know him differently than a lot of people know him. But he wants peace. He wants to see peace. And his people, and they really acknowledge the critical role that they've played as mediator. And again, we're not quite finished. We have to get Hamas, but I think they're going to be able to do that. So now it's time for Hamas to accept the terms of the plan that we've put forward today. And again, this is a different Hamas than we were dealing with because I guess over 20,000 have been killed. Their leadership has been killed 3 times over. So you're really dealing with different people than we've been dealing with over the last 4 years, 5 years. Everyone has done their part and come to the table in good faith. Our Arab and Muslim partners are fully prepared to step up and fulfill their commitments for the benefit of the people of Gaza and the entire region. They're willing to step up and do a lot. They really are. There are a lot of good people involved. Everybody who wants to see an end to the violence and destruction should be united in calling for Hamas to accept the extremely fair proposal so that we can end the war and get us back our hostages right now and have everlasting peace. And I look forward to having relationships with everyone. As the chairman of the board, I'll be involved, and we'll have meetings with some very smart people that'll be working over there to make sure that we haven't just been wasting time with an agreement that doesn't get done. The task of building peace will not be easy. There are some of the hardest problems in the world to solve, and that's why it's been going on for so many centuries. But too many lives are at stake not to try, and this is more than a try. I mean, I think this is something that gets done when you have virtually every country, and these are powerful, powerful countries that have a lot of money, and the money can make things happen. A lot of countries try, and they don't have any money. These are very rich countries that can make things happen. So together we'll forge a much safer and more hopeful future for everybody, including Israel. And I want to thank Prime Minister Netanyahu for his partnership. And I want to thank all of the leaders, the kings and the emirs and the presidents and prime ministers, people I mentioned. And they've been absolutely fantastic to work with. And it's just happened very quickly. It's happened from a couple of weeks before I had a couple of meetings, but a couple of weeks before we went to the United Nations, and we had some incredible meetings. It all came to place. It all took place, and everybody wanted to be a part of it. I don't have anybody that's saying we don't want anything to do with it. It's just the opposite. And I'll tell you, a couple of years ago, a year ago, I don't think we would have had this kind of participation, Mr. VP, right? I don't think we would have had. It's been amazing. The participation was 100%. Everybody wants to be a part of it. And everybody, those very strong countries, everybody wants it to work. So, Bibi, congratulations on this. I think this will be your crowning achievement, frankly. If this all works out, we think it will. It's going to be your crowning achievement. And I want to thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Please.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. President, first I want to thank you for graciously hosting me once again in the White House. And second, I want to thank you for your friendship and for your leadership. From Jerusalem to Tehran, from the Golan Heights to Gaza, you've proven time and again what I've said many times. You are the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House. And Mr. President, you and I both know it's not even close. While you focus at home on making America great again, your leadership abroad is changing the world for the better, ending wars and advancing peace. I believe that today we're taking a critical step towards both ending the war in Gaza and setting the stage for dramatically advancing peace in the Middle East, and I think beyond the Middle East, in very important Muslim countries. I support your plan to end the war in Gaza which achieves our war aims. It will bring back to Israel all our hostages, dismantle Hamas's military capabilities, end its political rule, and ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel. We would not have achieved this turning point without the courage and sacrifice of our incredibly brave soldiers. They fight like lions to defend the people of Israel, and they serve on the front line in the war between civilization and barbarism. Mr. President, when our two countries stand shoulder to shoulder, we achieve the impossible. Just a few months ago, in Operation Rising Lion and Operation Midnight Hammer, we struck a decisive blow against Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile program. Your bold decision to send those B-2s made the region safer and the world safer. Now, under your leadership, we're taking the next step to win the war and expand the peace. Your plan is consistent with the 5 principles my government set for the end of the war and the day after Hamas. Everybody asks, what is your plan for the day after Hamas? Here's our plan. Pass it in the cabinet. All our hostages, both those who are alive and those who died, all of them will return home immediately. Hamas will be disarmed. Gaza will be demilitarized. Israel will retain security responsibility, including a security perimeter for the foreseeable future. And lastly, Gaza will have a peaceful civilian administration that is run neither by Hamas nor by the Palestinian Authority. If Hamas agrees to your plan, Mr. President, the first step will be a modest withdrawal, followed by the release of all our hostages within 72 hours. The next step will be the establishment of an international body charged with fully disarming Hamas and demilitarizing Gaza. I appreciate your willingness to lead the body, Mr. President. I really appreciate it because you have a lot of things to do, and this is important. And it reflects the confidence that this will give everyone, that things will be followed up on all the commitments made. The fact that you're taking this on, I think, helps a lot to make sure that everything flows in the direction that we want. Now, if this international body succeeds, we will have permanently ended the war. Israel will conduct further withdrawals linked to the extent of disarmament and demilitarization, but will remain in the security perimeter for the foreseeable future. I think we should understand that we're giving everybody a chance to have this done peacefully, something that will achieve all our war objectives without any further bloodshed. But if Hamas rejects your plan, Mr. President, or if they supposedly accept it and then basically do everything to counter it, then Israel will finish the job by itself. This can be done the easy way, or it can be done the hard way, but it will be done. We prefer the easy way, but it has to be done. All these goals must be achieved because we didn't fight this horrible fight, sacrifice the finest of our young men to have Hamas stay in Gaza and threaten us again and again and again with these horrific massacres. Mr. President, I was encouraged by your clear statement at the UN against the recognition of a Palestinian state. That would be an outcome that, after October 7th, would reward terrorism, undermine security, and endanger Israel's very existence. As for the Palestinian Authority, I appreciate your firm position that the PA could have no role whatsoever in Gaza without undergoing a radical and genuine transformation. In your 2020 peace plan, which you mentioned just now, you made clear what that transformation requires. It's not lip service. It's not checking a box. It's a fundamental, genuine, and enduring transformation. And that means ending pay to slay, changing the poisonous textbooks that teach hatred to Jews, to Palestinian children, stopping incitement in the media, ending lawfare against Israel at the ICC, the ICJ, recognizing the Jewish state, and many, many other reforms. It won't come as a surprise to you that the vast majority of Israelis have no faith that the PA Leopard will change its spots. But rather than wait for this miraculous transformation, your plan provides a practical and realistic path forward for Gaza in the coming years, in which Gaza will be administered neither by Hamas nor the Palestinian Authority, but by those committed to a genuine peace with Israel. I think this can be not only a new beginning for Gaza, I think it can be a new beginning for the entire region. Under your leadership, we can re-energize, well, I've got to contribute my own, we can re-energize the Abraham Accords. That's what it's called in the original Hebrew, Abraham. Abraham is fine, Abraham, however you want to call it. Under your leadership, Mr. President, we can re-energize the Abraham Accords that we forged 5 years ago. We can expand them to many more Arab and Muslim nations that choose moderation over extremism. I think there's an opportunity here. It's not going to be easy, it's tough going, but I think if we succeed, you're absolutely right. We're going to open possibilities that nobody even dreamed of. But I think we dream of them. As you've told me, Mr. President, and you've told the world many, many times, you said, remember October 7th. Remember October 7th. And we do. We will never forget the horrors of October 7th, and we will do whatever is necessary to make sure they don't happen again. Since October 7th, Israel's enemies have learned a hard truth. Those who attack us pay a heavy price, but those who partner with us advance progress and security for their peoples. President Trump just said it, it's also in the Bible. It says, those who will bless you will be blessed, and those who will curse you will be cursed. And that's actually what is happening. We want the blessings. I think we've done a lot in the past 2 years to end the curse. We're not finished, but we've done a lot. And we've done a lot together to end the curse. I want to thank your entire team for their efforts to get to this point. I especially want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for their indefatigable work to bring Israel and Arab states in the region closer together. I am deeply grateful to both of them for their work. We had a phone call today just to make it clear. I said to the Prime Minister of Qatar, Israel was targeting terrorists, wasn't targeting Qatar. And of course, we regretted the loss of the Qatari citizen, it wasn't our target. And I very much appreciate President Trump's proposal to have a trilateral body, the United States, Israel, and Qatar, to work out respective grievances. There are quite a few. But if we could try to mitigate them or put it on a different footing, I think that'll be good for everyone. Above all the people, the fine team, the many helpers who've done this, I want to thank you, Mr. President. History has already shown that under your leadership, Israel and America can change the face of the Middle East. And today I'm hopeful that your plan to end the war in Gaza will do so again and do so soon. It will free our hostages, end Hamas's tyranny in Gaza, and enable a more secure and prosperous future for the peoples of our region. Thank you, Mr. President. May God bless America. May God bless Israel. May God bless the indispensable alliance between our countries. And may I add in Hebrew, G'mal Chatima Tova, may we all be inscribed in the book of life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bibi. So I think while we wait for these documents to be signed and get everybody in line, I think it maybe is not really appropriate to take questions. I'm meeting with, as you know, a couple of Democrats in a little while about the country, about keeping our country open. They're going to have to do some things because their ideas are not very good ones. They're very bad for our country. So we'll see how that works out. But this is something that was really historic today. This was something that was amazing. I think, Bibi, I mean, depending on you, I think while we're waiting for signatures and waiting for approvals from a lot of different countries that are involved in this, we probably shouldn't take questions? Or would you like to take a question or two from perhaps a friendly Israeli reporter, if there's such a thing?
That's a very, very tough proposition. But I would think, Mr. President, that I would go by your instinct that this is, we'll have enough time for questions. Let's settle the issue first, I think.
And that's the end of that press conference. President Trump laying out we have a 20-point email from the White House that explains what needs to be agreed upon by Hamas. And now we wait and see if they're going to agree to it. Peace has not been achieved. You have a joint press conference there with President Trump, of course, of the United States, and the Prime Minister, Bibi Netanyahu of Israel, saying they are ready to get a job done, but you obviously need both sides to come to that conclusion as well. Questions, we wanted to wait and see what kind of questions that would be able to be asked by reporters, and they both were basically like, probably not a good idea. And Bibi Netanyahu said it very well. Maybe we should get the deal done first, and there will be plenty of time for questions. So you've been listening to live coverage of the joint press conference with Israel and the United States represented there at the White House, saying they've had discussions with the Qataris, that they have been working on a way to stop the shooting, to end the violence, to achieve peace. And then, of course, through several of those points that I read and Donald Trump went on about, the investing into a restorative effort in Gaza, not just to say, okay, we're going to stop shooting at you, we're going to stop bombing you, but also saying they want to build up Gaza around its people, not forcing anyone to leave, not forcing anyone to stay, but to ensure that we're going to work on peace and then prosperity afterwards, including the forming of a board of peace, of which Donald Trump, and he said in his comments right there that this was not his idea and it was not his request, but a board of peace that would involve a focus on securing and maintaining that peace, but also the restoration of the area in Gaza that has been so decimated by war and violence. Now they need Hamas to come to the table. They need Hamas to be able to agree to these terms. And, boy, am I not a foreign policy expert. Is Hamas going to be like, hey, that's a great idea. That sounds awesome. High five, handshake, let's go. I don't know. We've also heard there that President Trump said that if Hamas does not agree to it, Israel can handle its business however it chooses to, essentially in retaliation if Hamas continues to try to perpetrate the grievances that they have done so up until this point against the people of Israel. So peace is still being pursued. And I was saying this a little bit earlier in the show, but if for nothing else, of course, with the Middle East, we saw this in Donald Trump's first term through the, as we now know, it's either Abraham Accords or the Abraham Accords, which is the term that I will stick to. The Abraham Accords that were put together by Jared Kushner was considered an incredible feat towards peace in the Middle East during Donald Trump's first term. That we have a president of the United States that passionately considers it valuable time spent to end the killing, to end the violence, to end the devastation. Do you remember during campaigns, or, good grief, it doesn't even have to be during campaigns, during the president's terms in office, where if you listen to the people who wake up to hate Trump, it's what they do. The first thing that they think in the morning, the last thing they think when they're laying their head on their pillow at night is, gosh, did I do enough today to show my disgust for Donald Trump? And we were told if he were to be elected the first time, if he were to be reelected the second time, that the world would hate us, that we'd be in wars. And all this president has done is try to end wars and invest, recalibrate the way America does business across the world to serve America first, but is certainly not America only. This president has a prioritized commitment to using the blessings and the greatness that exist in the United States of America to fortify it so that it exists in the future for generations to come by upholding the things that make it so great. And folks, the elements of the United States of America that make it great, it's you. It's her people. It's not its government. What a distinct but important thing to understand. And the differences of who holds those levers of power. What makes this country great? How great our government is, how big our government is, all the things our government can do. What if the government can't do anything because it's milked its people dry? It's spent the funds and the money from generations to come and burdened it with great, enormous economic debt, insurmountable debt, prioritizing how big government can be in order to provide for its people. It's undercut its people in that process, getting us back to a place where Americans are celebrated for the work that they do and the prosperity that they create, that the government can then utilize the power that it holds to be incredibly limited in making sure that that business is done fairly, that Americans can't take advantage of other Americans, that justice is served, that justice is blind, and that America's people are secure and safe. These are the promises that limited government offers its people, and these are the promises that America First offers its people. But in the midst of all of that prosperity, we can bless the world with the prosperity that we have and in turn reap from it. And it's not a bad thing. It's basically capitalism on a much broader scale. This president doesn't only care about, first and foremost, his biggest detractors will say himself. He doesn't only care about America, not care about anyone else in the world. He cares deeply about it. And you hear people on the left now coming out and saying that we very much so have a president who hates war. Bill Maher said this. He detests the war, the destruction, the violence, and the death. He truly, honestly does not like it. So regardless of how this particular situation ends, you see a president that is in constant pursuit of peace, not war, but peace. And that is something that we need to reflect upon and from my perspective, be very, very grateful for. This president wants peace and is willing to pursue it. Instead of throwing the weight of America into some war business that it's been in perpetually by Republicans who champion it and by Democrats who deceive as if they're against it when they truly do still participate in it. With our money and our blood. That's not Donald Trump. And we are blessed to have him. All right, let's take a quick break. Ryan Schmelz has been holding on the phone for 45 minutes. That's not exactly true. But he's been by the phone waiting for an opportunity to come talk to you about the government shutdown. How will you feel if the government shuts down over a funding impasse? Blame Democrats, blame Republicans, or you really couldn't care less? Go vote in the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. Let's find out about that government shutdown next. CityofLaw.com. You have thought about putting your estate plan together, and for whatever reason, it's weird. You don't want to do it because you don't like it. It's uncomfortable. Well, that's a really dumb reason not to do it, and I'm just going to call you out on it. It doesn't matter how old you are. Chances are, if you're old enough to make the decision to listen to talk radio, you need to have an estate plan. You need to establish a trust, and you need somebody you can trust to put it together and ask all of the questions that you couldn't even possibly dream of thinking about needing to ask or have answers to. You can call Civia Law at 833-995-WILL. Drop my name in there. Tell them Annie sent you. And get that strategy session where you set up the plan for what you're going to do next. Get that $300 fee waived. First 10 callers right now to 833-995-WILL. 833-995-WILL. Can schedule an appointment to meet at one of these 7 different locations in Illinois and Missouri. Edwardsville, East Alton, Swansea, Centralia, Mount Vernon. In Missouri, of course, Wentzville and Creve Coeur. Call them now, mention my name, get your strategy session free. 833-995-WILL, CiviaLaw.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Welcome to Coffee House. How are you today?
Hi, great, thanks. May I get a sea salt caramel latte with almond milk, extra caramel, extra shot, iced,
Gross.
and to go, please. Did you get all that?
No, I was just ringing you up for all the extras. Can you repeat your order, please?
Oh, never mind. I'm just gonna go.
Stop paying extra for extras. Get fancy coffee without the fancy coffee price at Quick Trip. Raise your coffee bar.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at noon.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Experience matters, and if you're considering a backyard project, I want you to call my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here. You know, Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been around since 1968. They're locally owned and operated by the same ownership all those years, and it is the sign you have the very best. They have their own professionally trained installation crews, their own trucks and tools. They aren't subbing anything out. You're getting the work done by the great people at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. You're welcome to visit their showroom there in Chesterfield, or they'll be happy to come to you. They do free in-home estimates, no obligation. They do free project design, so whether you want a new deck or a new fence or maybe a new pergola out back or a new sunroom, Chesterfield Fence and Deck can take care of it. And for the month of September, mention Mark and get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Go to chesterfieldfence.com.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
When I met you in the summer, to my heartbeat sound, we fell in love as the leaves turn brown. And we could be together, baby, as long as skies are blue.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. So what a long press conference that was with Bibi Netanyahu and President Trump talking about their efforts to attempt to broker peace in Gaza, and a huge accomplishment, of course, that it would be. Let's talk to our friend Ryan Schmelz about the other big thing happening on Capitol Hill right now. Fox News Radio Capitol Hill and White House correspondent Ryan Schmelz joins us once again. We've heard your Fox News Radio update saying that shutdown is looming at midnight tomorrow night. Ryan Schmelz, what the heck does it mean for the government to shut down?
It means a lot of stoppage of a lot of things. You know, we'll see mostly non-essential workers lose their paychecks, and essential workers too, but you'd still see military, law enforcement, whatnot come into work. But the question is, and when this usually becomes a problem, is if this goes on for too long, do certain employees stop showing up to work? You saw this back in, I believe it was during President Trump's first term when the TSA agents stop coming to work. Next thing you know, that can cause backups in air traffic and everything that we rely on every day. And so then it becomes a huge problem if this thing starts to drag on for an extended period of time.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about who the players are and how a shutdown could be avoided or how we could find ourselves into it. Of course, politically, we're going to have Republicans blaming Democrats, Democrats blaming Republicans. What needs to happen in order for this shutdown to be avoided?
They need to find something that's going to get 60 votes. And right now, the Republican package that they plan on voting on again tomorrow does not have 60 votes. It got one Democrat to vote for the procedural hurdle to end the filibuster. That was John Fetterman. The rest were no's. And there were two Republicans who were also no's on it as well. So Republicans are going to need to look, if they're going to vote on it again tomorrow, there's a chance that a number of Democrats flip and they get that 60 votes needed to break the filibuster. But if that's not the case, then there's going to have to be some type of deal brokered here, and we don't know what that looks like right now. Now, what's interesting is Axios, Annie, is reporting, and I believe there's a couple other outlets reporting it too, so I'm going to try to get confirmation on this as soon as we get off this call, that Leader Schumer has approached a couple of Democrats and floated this idea of a 7 to 10 day stopgap measure to extend government funding. So it looks like Plan B is starting to be worked out a little bit by Democrats, at least based off what this reporting is saying.
So we're talking about, I think I always like to talk about like bold-faced vocabulary words that people hear being discussed, and I like to break them down so everybody understands what we're discussing. When I say CR, that means continuing resolution. My understanding is that a continuing resolution is not a budget. It's more of a Band-Aid. When we talk about 7 to 10 days versus how long the other CR or continuing resolution, how long that would be, can you tell us the mechanics of what that 7 to 10 day CR or Band-Aid might actually be?
I mean, it's probably going to be exactly what the current one that's on the table is, which is just a clean extension of government funding until a certain date. So the one right now extends all the way until late November. That's the one that the Republicans want to pass. The one the Democrats reportedly are floating is just the same thing, but with just 10 days instead of, several weeks like the Republican one does. Now, the optics of that, my guess would be that the idea is that Leader Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries would be able to avoid a government shutdown without the massive political defeat that just accepting the Republican CR would be. Remember, Leader Schumer got a lot of flack for the last time he went through this process, and there's a lot of eyes on him and how he handles this. So would a 7 or 10 day continuing resolution, would that be as costly? It might not be, because they still have an opportunity there to negotiate these healthcare provisions they've been pushing for, but so far have not been successful at getting Republicans to agree to.
So I have a comment here from a viewer of ours on Facebook from Patricia, and she said, if health insurance, the Affordable Care Act, increases 75% due to the shutdown, both sides are going to face backlash. I'll let you speak to that specifically if you have something to add to that. But what are the things, of course, we don't want government workers, people who are coming to work, to not get paid for their work, but how are taxpayers, citizens out here in the Midwest, across the country, how are they going to be affected by maybe things like health insurance? What are the big concerns?
Right. So right now there's these Obamacare tax insurance premiums that are set to expire at the end of the year. And what Democrats and some Republicans are arguing is that people are going to start getting notices in the mail because open enrollment's happening right now that are going to pretty much tell people that their health insurance premiums are going to go up unless they extend this program. Democrats want a permanent extension of this as a contingency for getting their vote to vote for the government funding plan. Now, here's a little kicker, though, is that Republicans are simply arguing that this should not be something that's included in a government funding package. That should be a separate issue that is debated and negotiated. And there are a lot of Republicans who support this thing. Their argument, though, is that A, like I just mentioned, they think it should be separate, but also B, they believe that the program has some significant flaws and they want to reform the program in order to allow for the extension to take place. And also, let's keep in mind the price tag on this is quite substantial. It's in the hundreds of billions of dollars over the next decade or so. So that's kind of what might prevent some Republicans from saying, okay, yeah, we'll just add this in. They want to get some assurances first before they go forward with some type of major healthcare reform like this.
We're speaking with Ryan Schmelz, Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill and White House correspondent, on X at Ryan Schmelz Fox. Ryan, I've heard some discussion and I read some stuff on X, and there's talks about how maybe Donald Trump could utilize a government shutdown to his benefit, maybe checking to see what really needs to be funded or what really doesn't need to be funded, or to extend emergency pay to certain places in the government and not others. Is there accuracy to any of that? What kind of benefit and power does the executive have in the situation of a government shutdown?
Well, there's two things on that. Okay, first of all, there's this report that the OMB has sent out a memo. Well, we actually have the memo, but so the Office of Management and Budget has pretty much talked about this idea of doing massive layoffs if there is a government shutdown. So that has kind of been seen as something that Democrats might be weary of, and why you might see some Democrats flip their position and vote for the plan that's on the table maybe tomorrow night. There's also this idea, and you saw Leader Schumer cite this as the reason why he let the filibuster get broken to pass the government funding package last time back in March. And his argument was that if Elon Musk and Donald Trump are the ones who get to reopen the government and we let the government shut down, then they're going to enact a lot of the DOGE policies, a lot of the DOGE cuts. They're going to reopen it on their terms and not do it the way we want. So there was this level of fear of a government shutdown, of what it would do and what kind of powers it would grant DOGE and President Trump. So some might say that those issues are still there, but it just seems like it's a very different Chuck Schumer than what we saw last time.
Yeah. So is there a making lemonade out of lemons opportunity here for Republicans, specifically Donald Trump and the president, in the event that the shutdown happens? Is there an incentive for the Republicans to shut down the government?
It's kind of hard to know. It probably not. The government shutdowns usually don't have good politics attached to them.
Right.
Republicans have been very gung-ho about blaming Democrats for this too. I mean, the argument you hear a lot of is it's this messaging that they're doing called the Schumer shutdown. And there is just this thought in Republican circles that's very different from previous shutdowns. In the past, whenever there's been a government shutdown, there's been, Republicans kind of think that, well, the media is going to blame us. We're the ones who get, put on the hook. It's usually, we always get the blame for a government shutdown. Well, this time around, Republicans, there is at least a level of confidence in Republican circles that this will be the first government shutdown ever where Democrats are the ones who get blamed for it. And you see this unified messaging surrounding it from Republicans where they say, it's the Schumer shutdown. And I haven't seen a creative nickname for the shutdown from Democrats yet, but Republicans have theirs, and they've got everybody on every single wing of the party saying it.
The Schumer shutdown sounds like the name of a Fortnite dance, and I think Ryan Schmelz, you should start it. I don't even care what you do, but I will
Fortnite. I've never played Fortnite a day in my life.
Well, just do a dance. There's got you just something clever, and then call it the.
We need a line dance. Give me a line dance to it, and maybe I'll think about it.
Now you're speaking my language, Ryan Schmelz. All right. Well, we would love to have you back soon, maybe this week if you do have time, because this is obviously a minute-by-minute developing story. Thanks for waiting with us today. We appreciate you waiting to the 2 o'clock hour here in the Central Time Zone. We'll talk to you soon.
No problem, Manny. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye. Not a Fortniter. Okay. I doubt most of you are either. But I bet most of you know what it is because of your kids and your grandkids, and they can't turn it off. All right, let's take a quick break. Ethan Sports and Local next on the Annie Fry Show. Lots of breaking news throughout the course of the day. You're in the right place here on 97.1 FM Talk. We got you covered. Very grateful to be the Fox News Radio affiliate here in St. Louis. Of course, St. Louis Conservative, 97.1 FM Talk. Back in a minute. Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. What is a bagel loan? Why would you name a mortgage after a breakfast food? Or maybe it's a lunch food, too. I guess you could have a bagel sandwich for lunch. Because bagels look like zeros. And you pay zero in closing costs. That's really it. It's not any more complicated than that. And I think Stewie likes bagels. If you call 314-324-4440 or you text 314-324-4440, you can start your conversation directly with Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage, because that's the number directly to his cell phone, 314-324-4440. When you ask him about your particular circumstances, if you're shopping for a new home and you know you're obviously going to need a new mortgage, maybe you've been in your home for a while, a couple years, and you want to get one of the rates now that they are lower. When it doesn't cost you anything to go through the process to secure that lower rate, this becomes a no-brainer. Not only can you secure a lower rate, but a lot of times people will call Stewie. They'll refinance their house for less years, a shorter-term loan, save money per month, keep the payment maybe the same, but you shave 5, 8 years or whatever off the length of your loan. Wow, this is a call you have to make. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, The trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, I'm Nancy Cartwright. You may know me better as the voice of Bart Simpson. On Simpsons Declassified, we're diving into the mysteries that keep the Simpsons forever young. Have you ever wondered how the Simpsons regularly predicts future events? Who better to ask than the show's creators, performers, and writers, the celebrity guests? Be sure to follow and listen to Simpsons Declassified wherever you get your podcasts.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in St. Louis,
and they get paid weekly. Available to eligible Medicaid members in St. Louis.
Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home.
You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid.
Freedom Care has over 7,000 5-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in St. Louis for in-home care.
If you have Medicaid and want to receive great care from a loved one, go to freedomcare.com or for faster service, call 314-597-1749. 314-597-1749. That's 314-597-1749.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. How will you feel if the government shuts down over funding impasse? You hear that, Annie? Got that, Annie? Nailed it. We do English here on the radio. The options: blame Democrats, blame Republicans, or couldn't care less. We're going to be giving those results to the YouTube live chat poll in a little under 20 minutes. So go and vote on the Annie Fry Show YouTube channel right now. Stop what you're doing. Do it right now. The time is 2:36. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
From the gateway to the airwaves. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Hold up. Check it out. Sports and local.
Hold up. Check it out. It's Ethan.
Okay.
Getting tired of that one.
Yeah.
But I follow orders. He told me to play it every day that he was gone.
I just want you to know that you aren't like professionally obligated to follow Ryan's orders. Does he give you orders?
Annie, he orders me around like I'm his servant. And then when I don't listen, he hits me.
Oh no!
I'm just kidding.
I'll bring it up tomorrow.
Okay, so it's a sports and local time, and as I have begun to do on Mondays, a quick recap of the college football scene. The local college football scene went much better this week than last week did. For
A little nervous there for a bit.
The Illinois Fighting Illini.
Yeah.
Boy, fun game.
It was at a volleyball tournament, and right before I had to go take the court for our third place game, they're like, oh, it's 41-40, and I think Illinois had fumbled just recently, and we were in field goal kicking position, and then I went and coached a game and completely forgot.
So this was pretty chaotic.
The game was
the
taking place.
Illini were winning 31-25.
I didn't know that.
They were winning, and they had the opportunity to score.
No wonder.
To put it away. And they fumbled in the end zone, and USC recovered
No
it.
wonder the volleyball dad, who's a friend of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and was there to watch his daughter, no wonder he looked as distressed as he did. He was stressing me out. I was like, are you okay?
USC goes down the field, and they score a touchdown to make it 32-31.
Barf.
That was with very little time left. Let's see, less than 2 minutes left. The Illini go down, and they kick a 41-yard field goal as time expires to win the game.
Move.
34-32. They defeat the Southern California Trojans,
The Bush Pushers.
21st ranked team in the country, and Illinois now moves up to 22. And after last week's loss, very ugly one against Indiana, I saw a lot of comments. This is how a professional team responds after such a terrible game. Would have been really easy to let things fall apart from there for this Illini team. So kudos to them.
Yeah, I think Illinois is a legit contender. Sometimes it's like you ever watch a team that just kind of continues to accidentally win? Like people just show up and have bad games against them for whatever reason. Illinois seems to be a pretty legit team.
They're going to have to play pretty much perfect if they want a chance at the playoff.
Got to beat the best to be the best. That's what I tell my grade schoolers.
They host Ohio State.
Actually, you want to tell I have one rule for my volleyball team. Grade school volleyball, we play at the A-team level, but I start a fifth grader.
Okay.
That plays all the way around. They have one rule.
One rule.
Try.
Try.
It's the only rule. If you make an error because you tried and it didn't go well, try again.
One word.
Try. That's it.
So everyone's huddled up. All right, guys, bring it in. Ladies, come on. Try. Go. That's it? Is that all it is?
They get that on practice one. I call timeouts to let them sit down and goof around and have a drink, mental break. I don't even coach them at timeouts.
Doesn't sound like you're coaching much.
That's a good strategy, though.
Well, they're grade school girls. Usually when you call a timeout, it's a high-pressure situation. And if I've watched so much grade school volleyball as just an observer, like an objective third party, no dog in the fight. And when you watch a coach call a timeout, and I mean this could be other sports, but basketball, there's more strategy involved in basketball. Like a timeout for basketball might be designing a play, an inbounds play, or changing a defense or whatever. In volleyball, you teach them what they need to know in practice, and then you can maybe make a substitution, or there's coaching that can be done, but it's definitely grade school. So when you call a timeout, and if you're an objective third party and you see a coach who's over there is like, what are you thinking?
That's fun.
Move! Go for the ball!
That's fun to be around as an 11-year-old.
That's the most uplifting thing a middle school girl can really hear, you know? They're like, God, I hadn't thought of it. Thanks, coach.
Yeah. Build up their self-esteem and confidence a little more.
Or just say, just do your best. Go out there and do your best. And acknowledge when another team is better than you. Green Park Lutheran School smoked our butts in the semifinal game. They were really good.
You know?
And I had a fifth grade girl who is out there playing against like legit hitters for the first time. These girls are smoking the ball, hitting the corner. And she would just look at me with her eyebrows up as big as they can. And she would just go, whoa. Every time I'm like, you got to stop doing that. So here's a little bit of coaching. If you keep doing that, they're going to keep hitting it at you. You got to pretend like you've seen this before, even though you've never seen this before. Also, don't get hurt.
We need more Coach Fries out there in the world.
That's not what I hear.
How many more volleyball teams can you coach? 4? 5?
What's your next story?
The Mizzou Tigers 42-6 winners over the University of Massachusetts, the Minutemen.
The UMass.
Yep, the UMass. And 2 weeks away now, Mizzou, Alabama. Got my tickets. Can't wait. Roll Tide. And
I'm not even mad.
And then
Sure.
finally, a shout out to Jared
Yeah.
His Notre Dame Fighting Irish put belt to butt on the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Yeah.
56-13. St. Louisan, Jeremiah Love, 4 touchdowns.
Yes. He's doing some work.
Yeah, he is.
I always know what the score is when the game is happening. I always look. My husband knows that I know. He doesn't care. I don't spoil it for him.
Oh, yeah, because he likes to go back and watch them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We watch all the Notre Dame football
Sure,
games.
it was a happy Saturday.
And we ended up winning 3rd place. Girls played well. We went out to Zapata's in Collinsville afterwards for some Mexican dinner. Zapata's,
yeah.
And got done with that, came home, regroup, everybody's taking showers. I think he sat down to watch the Notre Dame game at about 8:30, 8:45.
I can't do that.
Who can? I
I
can't.
can't.
That's why I look at the score. I'm like,
The Vikings played on Sunday morning, and it was an early start because it was out of the country. And we watched the first half, and then we went to church, and everyone was like, okay, no phones, no anything. And it was really hard for me to 2 hours not look at anything. Twitter, scores, fantasy football. It was terrible.
here's a question. Christopher on our YouTube chat says, Love will win the Heisman if Notre Dame goes 10-2. And as a Texas Aggie, I really want Notre Dame to go 10-2. Do you pay attention to Heisman races and stuff? You think St. Louis and Jeremiah Love will have a shot at that?
It's become more and more every year. It's become a quarterback award, which is a shame because he should be in the mix. He has a chance, but he's going to have a really strong year, and the Irish are going to have to finish really strong in order for it to happen.
My understanding is they have a weaker schedule here on out. Their tough games are behind them.
Well, yeah,
Which
they
means they'll
lost a
probably
couple of close ones. They
lose
they probably should have won at least one of them. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. They have a good team.
Yeah, they missed an extra
They got
point.
Boise State this week. That'll be a fun one. Okay.
Next.
This one you might. I think you'll think this one is interesting, Annie, because it has to do with
Hope
one
so,
of
for the
one of
people.
your alma maters. The Edwardsville School Board has suspended Superintendent Patrick Shelton with pay pending an investigation following a unanimous vote last Thursday, according to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Shelton, who has been leading the district since 2021, will be temporarily replaced by the assistant superintendent. The district's spokesperson declined to comment the reason. The suspension of Shelton adds to it says, growing trend of administrative changes to in the St. Louis area school districts this year, as Edwardsville is the 3rd district in this area to suspend or fire its top administrator.
The
What do you know?
The compensation package. I know a lot of rumors, and I am not repeating any of them here. But if you want to see a compensation package to be envious of, go check out the Edwardsville superintendent's compensation package. He has like 100 paid PTO days a year. Wow. I don't even understand that. I am a tax-paying citizen to the Edwardsville School District, and I would the only comment I have, I don't send my kids to school in the Edwardsville School District because I send them to a Lutheran school because I want them to know about Jesus, and I'm happy to pay the tuition to do that. But as a tax-paying citizen to that school district, all I want them to do is get their act together and make sure that the dollars that are coming out of all of our pockets go to the education of our kids so that they can be educated in a way that we can all be proud of. So get your act together, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
I don't have.
I think that would probably be echoed by everybody listening about all of their respective school districts. I don't know that it's particular. Maybe more. I don't know.
There isn't much more beyond just this headline to share, but I just want to throw it out there for our viewers, for our listeners.
This isn't gossip, is it?
What?
You're not going to throw out a rumor or gossip?
No.
Okay.
I want to give the people a laugh. Cori Bush is set to run for Congress again.
Hooray! Huzzah!
Trying to win back her old seat. And you know what? Like I said, I'm one for the people, and I just wanted to make people laugh today.
Well, as the story goes, I think Missouri's going to have one Democrat represented in Congress.
Uh-oh.
So I think Wesley Bell is infinitely better than Cori Bush. Wesley Bell has come on the show specifically after the tornado. We were talking about tornado recovery. We requested, and they were happy to do it. We requested Cori Bush to come on many times. Thank you for bringing this up. Somebody sent me an email and was like trashing our show because we never have Democrats on. They don't come on, Brad. We ask. They don't even always respond.
They don't. Yeah. they don't respond. I have made requests of just the DNC, and even the DNC will not respond.
Let's just say this. If it was a batting average, Brat would have been cut a long time
Yeah,
ago.
I'd be batting 0 because Annie was the one that was able to get Wesley Bell on. I have never been able to book a Democrat on this show unless you I don't think I've even booked Jane Duker.
No, we ask and they don't come on, and at some point I don't know why I would be asking them at some point. You know, we've had some Democrats that have. Wasn't there a Democrat senator that said that they would like to come on when you were in D.C.?
Yes. Ruben Gallego.
And Brad messaged me, she's like, would you like to have him on? I'm like, he's a senator. Absolutely. Clear the schedule. I don't want to have people on just to fight. Like, I don't know how much you as a listener would like this, but if you were a Democrat and you came on the show, I would work my tail off to try to agree with you on something.
I've requested Harold Ford and Jessica Tarlov off of Fox even, and they're like, well, okay, that sounds fun, and then I just never hear back on it.
Leslie Marshall has been on the show before.
Oh, good.
I think so, and I like her, and I follow her on Twitter, and she follows me.
There you go.
So
that's something in the right direction. Do you want one more, or are we all finished?
One more.
One more. Well, remember a couple weeks ago when I talked like Boeing was going to be able to end the strike and things were going to get back going?
Are they still striking?
They're still striking.
They're still striking?
They still are going. I think it's, entering its 9th week. They are back to the bargaining table today. It says 3,200. It says I am 837 members began the strike on August 4th and have been going since. So, the offers keep going back and forth. They're still on strike.
Well, hopefully everybody can get it together. I don't know what the arguments are on each side, so I'm not going to get in the middle of it, but that's sad to hear.
Yeah.
There's one other thing that I'll add to the conversation about having Democrats on. I open the phone lines, and I give the most time to Democrats when they call in. And I
100%
always try to treat them with respect. The only time it goes south is when they intentionally disrespect me or specifically people on the show. Then I will.
It's never happened.
Then I will fight you. But I'm all about that. I mean, I could name names of Democrats who call in this show, and they're some of my favorite listeners. So there. Let's take a break. We don't have much time. YouTube live chat poll results when we come back. How will you feel if the government shuts down over funding, impasse, blame Democrats, blame Republicans, or you couldn't care less? I think 80% of you are going to say, did I say 80? About 80%?
Yeah.
We're going to
85.
85. I predicted 85% say
Take a
blame
look.
Democrats. Ooh. I said 3% are going to say blame Republicans, and then the rest of you couldn't care less. I was wondering if couldn't care less would be over 10%. We'll find out next. Don't go away. The Retirement Advisory Group is online at retirementkey.com, and that's the website where you can go reserve your spot, or I'll give you the phone number here in just a second, for the Thursday of this week, October 2nd, Frontenac Hilton Protecting Your Retirement educational event. I'd love to meet you. Would you come meet me? From 6 to 6:30, I will be there, and I will be hopefully meeting a room full of Annie Fry Show listeners who want to answer a couple of questions for themselves for free at an event that costs you nothing. And once the event starts, it maybe lasts 45 minutes. It'll be less than an hour. Are you nearing retirement, or are you already retired and wondering if your 401k and IRA will last through your lifetime? Big question. You need the answer to it. The Retirement Advisory Group has the answer to that question. What about, do you have your own personalized structured income plan set up? Reserve your place to listen to this free seminar. And if you'd like to show up 30 minutes early from 6 to 6:30, I'd love to meet you. Mark Cox and Mark Reardon and I will be there. 314-993-9494. Call and reserve your spot. Bring some friends at 314-993-9494 and tell them Andy sent you. RetirementKey.com.
Bold, unapologetic, unfiltered. The Mark Cox Morning Show is covering the issues that matter to you. From borders to school boards, Mark Cox is St. Louis conservative.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly Open Phone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/free. QUO.com/free.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Now, back to the Annie Fry Show. Real talk for real people. 97.1 FM Talk.
The YouTube poll today is asking about the government shutdown. You said at the beginning of the show, Ethan, that you're learning about the government shutdown and what it means. Mm-hmm. Do you have any even response? Would you abstain from this poll? How will you feel if the government shuts down over funding impasse?
So my problem is that from everything that I have heard, I guess, is that the things that feels like are holding it up right now are really silly on the Democratic side.
It's because you've been listening to 97.1.
That is correct. I guess the main thing
the
main thing that I've heard is the aid health coverage for illegal immigrants. That's what I've heard. If that's the case, that seems really silly and unnecessary to me. So I would say blame Democrats. But that's also with not having heard anything besides that.
So if they were to agree to pass the continuing resolution, also known as a CR, it would take all of the funding that has been happening since Congress passed it last year. Everything that's been happening all the way throughout 2025 up until this point would just happen a little bit longer. That's all they're voting on right now. Just nothing changes. Take exactly what's going on right now and make it a little bit longer so that we can continue to talk about the budget for the next year.
That's it.
And the Democrats are saying no.
Woof.
Brad, do you have a response to this? Blame Democrats, blame Republicans, or couldn't care less?
Blame Democrats. It's their fault.
But without the exclamation point? Or
no, let's do the exclamation point. I'm mad now.
All right, he's been listening to 97.1 today, too. Results?
256 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. How will you feel if the government shuts down over funding impasse? 61% say blame Democrats. 7% say blame Republicans. 32% say couldn't care less.
32? 1/3 of you don't even care. Woo, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you were way off on your projection.
I think I'm responsibly blame Democrats, but I'm also at the point where I couldn't care less because they'll figure it out. They always do.
Right.
Mark Reardon Show coming up next. Don't go away.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
TheDittemoreGroup.com. That's the website. Tammy Dittemore waiting for your phone call to ensure that you're in the very best hands to list your home. And also, in turn, if you're looking to buy a home, you can reach out to the Dittemore Group. They've got an amazing team. How does 50-plus years of experience sound? You need to work with somebody who understands the ins and outs of the market. The market is always changing. It's hard to understand if you haven't been in it, haven't been working with it. And also, for like my perspective, thinking about listing my house in the future, like if you went to my house, you'd see that I've spackled the gray painted walls in my house. I'm trying to think of the things that I need to do to improve my house to get it ready to list. And I'm running all of that stuff by Tammy Dittemore to ensure that I'm spending my time and my money to improve my house to list in a smart and reasonable way. The Dittemore Group, that's where I'm going, and I hope you will as well for your real estate transaction. Call 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652. TheDittemoreGroup.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Generators Supercenter of St. Louis. And you know, your home is your sanctuary. You need to take the first step to peace of mind with a